3 years ago, the Earth suddenly entered an era of spiritual energy revival, and humanity began to explore this mysterious energy. A few lucky individuals awakened supernatural abilities, becoming heroes who exterminated grotesque monsters and were revered, opening the story in a ruined city. Lam Tian's entire body was stained red with blood, covered in countless wounds as he roared in fury. "Li Hu Dong, you damn bitch!" Li Hu Dong coldly plunged a dagger into him, the corner of her mouth curled up in contempt. "This animal's life is really tough, still not dead yet, huh?" Kwang Vu walked over from a distance, his tone casual. "What's wrong? Are you not satisfied yet?" Hearing him, she immediately changed her attitude, her voice sickly sweet. "Brother Kwang, I was getting bored just waiting for you." He wrapped his arm around Hu Dong's waist, his eyes filled with contempt for Lam Tien. "Your comrades have been wiped out by me now. It's your turn. Any last words before you die?" Lam Tien, being stepped on, roared with hatred. "You damn couple, you will both die a miserable death." Kwang Vu burst out laughing, his voice full of mockery. "We don't know how we'll die. But one thing is certain, he stomped down hard, sending Lam Tien falling into the deep abyss, and that is, you must die right now." Below, a horde of ferocious monsters growled, their eyes blood red, waiting to tear him to pieces. In his final moments, Lam Tien thought of those who had died unjustly at Kwang Vu's hands, his heart filled with regret. He swore in his heart, "If there is a next life, I will definitely make these wicked bastards pay with their lives. Even if I have to become a demon, I will force them to pay in blood," just when it seemed everything was over. Suddenly, a series of system notifications appeared. The Supreme Martial Path has been activated, detecting the host is in mortal danger, beginning time reversal due to the host's insufficient points. The time of reversal will be random, now initiating 3, 2, 1. In a flash of light, Lam Tien woke with a start, his eyes wide open. In front of him was a TV screen showing a soccer match. He frantically touched his chest. "I'm alive, wasn't I already killed by them?" In his confusion, a system panel suddenly appeared, making him almost scream. A notification sound rang out. "The Supreme Martial Path system has bonded with the host. Please select an attribute to begin cultivation." Lam Tien was stunned, reborn, and with a legendary system thinking of Kwang Vu and Li Hu Dong, his heart boiled with hatred. "This time I will make you pay." Calming down, he looked closely at the system panel and suddenly realized, "It seems I've returned to 1 month before the spiritual energy outbreak right now. No one knows that spiritual energy is quietly recovering. After the spiritual energy awakens, not only humans but also plants and animals will undergo supermutations. Spirit fruits will appear, and eating them can grant extraordinary abilities. The heavens will also change. Auroras, meteor showers, and lightning will descend. Whoever seizes the opportunity will become invincible." Lam Tien was excited. 1 month is enough for me to prepare. He opened the system introduction, and the screen displayed. Attributes come with daily missions. Attribute cultivation and point exchange without hesitation. He immediately chose the strongest fire attribute. A blinding light flared up and the system announced, "Extracting a fire attribute cultivation technique, please wait." Then a sparkling crystal appeared in mid-air, emitting a mystical purple light. "Congratulations, host, you have drawn the heavenly scorching flame art. A purple-grade fire attribute technique, the reward of 5 system points, has been activated." Lam Tien's eyes lit up, unable to contain his excitement. "A purple-grade technique. In my past life, a blue-grade one was enough to make the world fight over it. Yet this time I've obtained a supreme treasure." Without hesitating, he crushed the crystal. Immediately, surging firepower erupted within his body. Flames burst forth, enveloping his entire being. The surrounding temperature soared. His eyes burned with determination. "In this life, I will stand at the very peak. I won't let anyone dare to look down on me." Just then, his phone rang, seeing the name Li Hu Dong on the screen. Lam Tien's expression immediately darkened. "I almost forgot about this venomous snake." He answered the phone, his voice as cold as ice. "What is it on the other end?" Hu Dong shouted bossily. "I like a handbag. I'm short 20,000. Transfer the money to my WeChat right now." Remembering how he was used and discarded like a tool in his past life, Lam Tien exploded. "Piss off and go find your rich boy Kwang Vu. Don't you dare call me again." Kwang Vu hung up abruptly. He could imagine Hu Dong's dumbfounded face scene change. Hu Dong's face was scrunched up. "He dared to hang up on me and even cursed at me. Is he crazy?" Kwang Vu smirked mockingly. "Looks like your little puppy is suddenly rebelling, huh? Or did he take the wrong medicine?" Seeing him teasing, she immediately acted cute, wrapping her arms around Kwang Vu's arm. "I was just trying to please you, brother Kwang. Who cares about that loser anyway?" Flattered, Kwang Vu was thrilled and immediately bought her a whole expensive dress scene change. People's Hospital. Lam Tien was drenched in sweat, panting heavily, damn it. "If only I had asked Vu Tien for the hospital's name before I've run to 3 places and still haven't found it." He suddenly remembered what Vu Tin once said. Her father thought she was sick and forced her to take tonics, which destroyed her ice element. She even gained weight, clenching his fist. Lam Tien vowed in this life, I will not only protect her, but also help her have no regrets when the spiritual energy awakens in the hospital room. The doctors were bewildered surrounding the hospital bed, one exclaimed. All her vitals are normal, but her body temperature is abnormally low, a man old Tu rushed over anxiously. Please save my daughter, old Li, the doctor standing beside him nodded. Let me check her pulse first after examining her. He asked, where did she go recently? Old Tu quickly replied, last month I took her to Iceland to celebrate. Her admission to Tan Bak University, she just came back on Wednesday, and then this happened. Old Li's face was grave. She has been invaded by cold energy. She needs an item of extreme yang to neutralize it. I will write a prescription. We must hurry, or it will be too late. Old Tu immediately bowed in thanks. Old Li turned away and sighed. I'm just doing my best. Whether she lives or dies is up to fate. Stop. Lam Tien barged straight into the room, his steely voice ringing out. Old Tu was stunned, while another doctor asked Old Li, is this your disciple? Old Li shook his head. I don't accept disciples. Seeing the situation, the other doctors rushed towards Lam Tien, trying to push him out while shouting, where did this brat come from? Can't you see this is an emergency room? He struggled with them resolutely, shouting loudly, Mister, to your daughter isn't sick. She has awakened the extremely rare ice attribute spiritual energy if you treat her incorrectly. Not only will her body be destroyed, but her future will also be cut short. Another person witnessing this scene angrily scolded, You've read too many novels and now there's something wrong with your head. Isn't that right? Hurry up and drag him out! Just then a loud shout echoed, making everyone jump. Old Li stared at Lam Tien with suspicion and asked young man, how do you know about this ice attribute spiritual energy? Who are you exactly? Lam Tien calmly replied, who I am is not important. The crucial thing now is to save her and wake her up. Hearing him say this, the entire room fell silent. Only Old Li remained calm. His scrutinizing gaze fixed on him with a hint of mockery. He spoke up, if that's the case. I'd ask this little brother to enlighten this old man on how to cure this illness. Without beating around the bush, Lam Tien got straight to the point, listing the necessary ingredients: fresh ginger, 2 kian aconite root, 2 kian cinnamon bark, 5 kian, and Angelica sinensis, 1 kian. The ingredients he listed left the nurses utterly astonished. Isn't this Teacher Li's prescription? How does this kid know it? He must have copied it. Hearing this, Old Li just smiled faintly. Little brother, your prescription is indeed identical to mine, but it still can't cure young Miss To's illness. Yes. Before he could finish, Lam Tien interrupted. I'm not done speaking yet. Don't be so quick to interrupt. This prescription is still missing one most crucial ingredient. As he spoke, he raised one finger, declaring it's the Stardew flower. Hearing this, Old Li's eyebrows twitched slightly, his expression changing from initial indifference to surprise. Little brother, even if your prescription can help young miss to wake up without any harm, I'm afraid the Stardew flower cannot be found in this world. Hearing Old Li's confirmation, the nurses were even more shocked. Teacher Li actually acknowledges that this kid really has a way to cure the young lady of the Tu family. Could it be he wasn't lying? Hearing there was hope to save his daughter, Old To rushed forward, his voice full of pleading. Old Li, how much is this Stardew flower? The Tu family is not short on money. Please tell me where I can buy it. Old Li shook his head helplessly. It can't be bought. The Stardew flower is famous for its blue star-shaped petals and a center that glitters with a silver light. At night, the flower emits a faint glow like stars in the sky, which is how it got its name. Its sap can quickly heal wounds and relieve pain. This is what my father and I read in an ancient book, so this flower only grew in ancient times, when the earth was abundant in spiritual energy, so it cannot be found now. Hearing this, Old To panicked. What? Does that mean my daughter will have to suffer like this for the rest of her life? Seeing this, Lam Tien immediately reassured him. Uncle To, don't worry. I said I can save Vu Tin without letting her suffer any harm. Old Li was surprised by his confidence. Little brother, do you mean you have that legendary Stardew flower? He nodded affirmatively. That's right. At this moment, another doctor stepped forward to advise Old Li, don't believe this kid's nonsense. How could a poor wretch like him possibly have it? He probably peeked at the prescription through the camera in the operating room. How could a brat like him have medical knowledge superior to mine? Hearing this, Old Li turned and asked back then, how do you explain the matter of the Stardew flower? The doctor answered flusteredly, he must be making it up. That thing sounds like a prop from a game. Ignoring the whispers, Lam Tien opened the points exchange interface from the system. The system announced, the points exchange interface is now open for the host. What does the host wish to exchange? Lam Tien requested the starlight flower. After spending 5 points, he successfully received a starlight flower with the spirit herb in hand. He held it up before everyone and declared, "Stop arguing." Look at this. Old Lai saw it and exclaimed excitedly, "Starlight flower, it really is the legendary starlight flower." He turned and asked little brother, "Do you truly possess this spirit herb?" Lam Tien replied confidently, "Now do you believe that I can cure Wu Tin?" Old Li clasped his hands. His voice sincere, little brother. This old man was too agitated just now. "I hope you can forgive me. Please save the Sioux girl Lam Tien," and the others approached the hospital bed. Wu Tin lay there barely breathing, looking at her. He silently vowed to himself that in this life he would not let her suffer any pain. He then took the starlight flower and gently brought it near Wu Tin's body. Seeing a positive sign, a nurse exclaimed excitedly, "She's warming up. Her body temperature is rising steadily now." A moment later, Wu Tin slowly regained consciousness. As soon as she saw Lam Tien, she looked bewildered and stammered, "You are?" He smiled gently and said, "Get some good rest. We will meet again soon." After that, he turned to Old Sue and instructed, "Wu Tin's body has recovered. You should buy a lot of nutritious food to help her recuperate." Old Sue was overjoyed and thanked him profusely. Lam Tien hurriedly left. Seeing him leave in such a hurry, Old Lai quickly called after him, "Little brother, if you have time, would you sit down for some tea and a chat with this old man?" Lam Tien tactfully refused. "I have other matters to attend to. We can chat some other time when there's an opportunity." Old Lai frowned, his eyes full of curiosity. "What's your name?" Lam Tien casually waved his hand. "I'm Lam Tien." Late at night, in a small room lit by the dim glow of a computer screen, Lam Tien was diligently typing, sweat beading on his forehead. He recalled an article from his past life detailing the levels of cultivation. After the spiritual chi recovery, after a while of searching, he suddenly exclaimed, "Found it, the spiritual chi of the cultivation world." He clicked his tongue in dissatisfaction. "In my past life, the spiritual chi awakening was too abrupt. When I died, I had only reached the third realm iron vein. This time I must go much further in the sauna." Hot steam billowed up. Lam Tien sat cross-legged in the middle of a tub of water. The heavenly scorching flame art circulated throughout his meridians. The spiritual chi around his body surged like a tidal wave. This purple-grade cultivation technique is truly terrifying. I've only practiced for one session and my spiritual power has already soared. He clenched his fists with burning determination. "In this life, I must reach the Emperor Venerable Realm." At the same time, in a secret office, Luan looked at Old Lai. "You mean you met a young man who had a starlight flower? Could it be that he also cultivates spiritual chi?" Old Li nodded in confirmation. "That's right, Director Liu. I am certain he is a spiritual chi genius. If he is nurtured, he could change the state of the world in the future." Hearing this, Luan immediately handed a photograph to Lan Nguyen. "Investigate him thoroughly now." Understood. Turning to Old Lai, she said with satisfaction, "If what you say is true, you've rendered a great service back in the steamy sauna." A wave of pressure exploded from Lam Tien's body. The shock wave made a glass of water on the table tremble. He opened his eyes in amazement. "I didn't expect the purple-grade technique to be this powerful. I've just started practicing, and I've already reached the second stage of the spirit awakening realm." Creak, the bathroom door swung open. Lam Tien stepped out, rubbing his ravenous stomach. "I'm starving to death. I have to find something to eat." Hurriedly getting dressed, he rushed out of Unit 4, muttering to himself, "I have to go to the nearby convenience store to buy food. At this point, I could eat a whole cow." On a nearby streetlight, Lan Nguyen observed silently, comparing the photograph with the figure of Lam Tien. Striding below, a corner of her mouth lifted. "Found you." Whoosh, a strange object suddenly flew towards Lam Tien. Boom. An earth-shattering explosion rang out, kicking up a cloud of dust and smoke. From within the smoke, a mutated dog the size of a calf emerged, its eyes blood red and its sharp claws gleaming. Lam Tien pursed his lips. Looks like the mutations have already begun. The monster growled, a foul stench assaulting his nostrils, causing him to wrinkle his nose and cover it. "What a disgusting thing!" Grrr! It charged forward like a whirlwind, its sharp claws swiping in all directions. Swish! Lam Tien dodged in time, but the monster quickly whipped its iron-like tail at his thigh. A sharp pain shot through him. He gritted his teeth and looked at it, his hands bursting into flames. "It's time for the flames to devour you." Leaping into the air, he shouted, "Flame Fist of Annihilation!" Bam! The fiery punch landed squarely on the dog's chest, making it howl as blood spurted out like a fountain. From a distance, Lan Nguyen's eyes widened in horror. Impossible! He took down a first-order mutated beast with a single blow. Lam Tien didn't hesitate, throwing another punch to finish it off. He looked at the monster's corpse with contempt. "You thing that doesn't know life from death." His stomach rumbled violently. He hurriedly ran off, throwing another punch. "Just made me hungrier. I need to find food fast." Lan Nguye trembled as she looked at the scene. The monster's iron tail was broken off, lying in a pool of dark blood. She thought to herself that sound just now wasn't his bones breaking, but its tail. Watching Lam Tian's retreating figure, she quickly took out her phone. I have to report this immediately. What on earth is his body made of? The next morning in the bathroom, Lam Tian brushed his teeth while looking at his haggard face in the mirror, thinking to himself, after waking up today, my body is aching intensely. It feels like I've just been beaten to a pulp. It seems I need to continue cultivating to consolidate my strength. As he stepped into the living room, the TV was broadcasting an emergency news report. The announcer reported this morning the temperature on the peak of Purple Cloud Mountain reached an abnormal 81 degrees Celsius. All visitors to Purple Cloud Mountain are advised to be cautious to ensure their safety. He reassured the public, do not believe the rumors that the high temperature can eliminate humidity. It is merely the ozone layer that is being affected. Hearing the news, Lam Tian's eyes widened in surprise. He tried to search his memories and suddenly realized that the ozone layer on Purple Cloud Mountain wasn't damaged at all. Instead, a fire attribute spiritual chi was appearing there. It was extremely powerful. Realizing this was a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity, he hurriedly grabbed a jacket from a chair, determined to set out and seize the chance to absorb this potent fire attribute spiritual chi. Just as he stepped out the door, Lam Tian unexpectedly ran into an uninvited guest, which stunned him. He saw Hyodong shamelessly and brazenly demanding he pay for a bag worth 200,000. He immediately shouted, "You shameless woman, get lost and stop bothering me," she replied arrogantly and without shame. Lam Tian, I know you're deliberately acting this way to make me interested in you. Interested in you, but I'm warning you, if you don't obediently give me the money right now, I really won't let this matter go. Lam Tian couldn't be bothered to argue. He turned and walked away coldly, tossing out one phrase, piss off. You'd best not come and bother me again. How despicable at Purple Cloud Mountain. As news of the 81-degree temperature spread, a curious crowd gathered endlessly. Security guards shouted loudly to remind them. Everyone, do not cross the warning line. It's really 81 degrees inside. This is no joke. You could be burned alive. A few reckless young men, ignoring the danger, threw popcorn into the Purple Cloud Mountain area. They shouted, "What the hell are you trying to pull?" I don't believe this place is that hot, but as soon as it touched the area, the popcorn immediately popped and sizzled, turning into black charcoal. The crowd screamed in terror. Oh my God, is it really that hot? Don't push forward again, it's dangerous inside. Lam Tian had just arrived and was observing from the roof of a car, thinking to himself, just as I expected, the fire attribute energy here is unimaginably powerful. After considering it, he determined that if he could absorb all of this energy, my strength would leap to a whole new level. Without any hesitation, Lam Tian rushed straight into Purple Cloud Mountain before the astonished eyes of the crowd. Some people exclaimed, "Is he not afraid of death?" A kind-hearted security guard shouted loudly, "Kid, come back quickly or you'll be burned to death." He rushed into the scorching area, his whole body feeling like it was on fire. I didn't expect the fire attribute energy to be this powerful. Lam Tian endured that terrible pain, feeling as if every cell in his body was being incinerated and his flesh was being torn apart. He gritted his teeth and silently vowed, in this life, I must become a powerhouse. This scene left the crowd gaping in awe, exclaiming, "What's wrong with this guy? Oh my God, could he be evolving? Look, his eyes are on fire." After finishing absorbing the energy, Lam Tian realized he had become the center of attention. He thought to himself, I can't let too many people notice me. I have to get out of here now. With that thought, he immediately shot off like a flash, causing the crowd to clamor and shout, "An immortal! There's an immortal! Did anyone get a picture of the immortal just now?" A bewildered security guard couldn't believe his eyes, muttering it was scorching hot just a moment ago. How is it normal now? Could that kid really be an immortal? His face turned deathly pale that night in a luxurious villa. Liuan silently watched the news report. A mysterious young man appeared on the peak of Purple Cloud Mountain, resolved the abnormal climate phenomenon, and then vanished before everyone's eyes. She immediately picked up the phone and gave an order to the person on the other end. Quickly suppress the news about Purple Cloud Mountain. Don't let it spread any further to avoid causing public panic. Yes, at that moment, Lan Niye walked in quietly. Seeing her, Luan spoke up and asked, "Last night you witnessed that kid blow away a first-order mutated dog with a single punch, didn't you?" She nodded in confirmation. That's right. Furthermore, the mutated dog's attack didn't seem to harm him at all. Hearing this, she became pensive. It seems that in just 2 short days we have discovered 2 geniuses. She thought to herself, I can't let other factions get to him first. I must bring Lam Tian into the organization as soon as possible. After thinking it over, Liuan stood up and signaled for Lan Nguye to take her to meet Lam Tian. At his home, Lam Tien was cultivating as spiritual energy swirled around him when his eyes suddenly snapped open, flashing with a cold golden light as a powerful aura erupted from his body. He had successfully broken through to the gushing spring realm at that very moment. The system announced, "Congratulations, host, for reaching the gushing spring realm. The reward is a new attribute slot. The host can now cultivate another attribute simultaneously." The system activated the enchantment function, allowing him to permanently imbue a weapon with an element with its durability depending on the weapon's material, causing Lam Tien's eyes to light up with excitement as he exclaimed, "Doesn't this mean I can craft my own elemental weapons?" He rushed to grab his familiar knife and said excitedly, "Old friend, watch how I turn you into a priceless treasure." But before he could begin crafting, the doorbell suddenly rang, startling him, and he wondered who could be visiting so late at night, and upon opening the door to find two strangers, Lam Tien asked in surprise, "Who are you people?" The man spoke up and introduced himself. "I am Liuan, president of the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association, and this is my subordinate Lan Nguyen. We came to talk with you about spiritual energy cultivation." Hearing this, Lam Tien thought to himself about the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association, suddenly recalling that in his past life, when he and Vu Tin were in danger, he had been saved by a girl from this very association. However, he had never had any contact with them in this life, which made him a bit suspicious. So he asked, "How do you know about me?" And seeing his confusion, Liuan took out a photograph of Vu Tin. He explained, "Old Li, the one who treated the young lady of the two family, mentioned you, and Tu Vu Tin has also joined our Spiritual Energy Association," which made Lam Tien ponder, thinking that these people didn't seem to have any ill intentions. Seeing his hesitation, Luan spoke up, "Little brother, have you not considered joining us?" Lam Tien tactfully declined, saying now is not the right time to join an organization, and he explained to Luan that he wanted to cultivate on his own, first waiting until the spiritual energy on Earth was fully restored. Only then would he consider other matters, and hearing this, Lan Nguyen spoke up. "I know you have become a first-stage awakened, but to be frank, your entry into the spirit awakening realm was pure luck. Without the association's guidance, reaching the gushing spring realm would not have been easy, and she advised in the future the Earth will change, and at that time spiritual energy cultivation will be the only path. To develop steadily, the association's guidance is essential, and she recalled that at first she also thought she could awaken on her own, so she had refused the association's invitation. After nearly 3 years, she still hadn't reached the spirit awakening realm, but after joining the association in less than 1 year, Lan Nguyen successfully broke through to the spirit awakening realm. She continued to persuade him with the association's support. Within a short 3 years, you could become a second segment gushing spring realm expert. And upon hearing this, Lam Tien was startled and asked Lan Nguyen, "How old are you this year?" And she cheerfully replied, "Almost 21. And hearing this, he thought to himself that this girl's talent was merely average. But to keep the peace, he didn't say it out loud, merely smiling and giving a thumbs up as he praised, "It's nothing, I just think you're a genius is all." Lan Nguyen proudly replied, "Everyone in the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association is a genius, and being a genius is just the threshold for joining," as Luan continued his persuasion. "If you join, the association will provide countless resources and support," but he was interrupted as the phone in his pocket suddenly rang, and Luan quietly excused himself to Lam Tien and stepped into a corner to answer it. The person on the other end of the line urgently reported, "President, a second-stage mutated beast has appeared just 30 kilometers from the city," and Liuan asked excitedly, what is its attribute? But the other person replied, "It's not yet clear. But it might be a giant python with a poison attribute," and he immediately ordered, "Yes, lock down the area right away. I will bring Lan Nguyen there." Hanging up the phone, he turned to Lam Tien with an apologetic voice. "I'm sorry, little brother, something urgent has come up on my side and we have to leave immediately. Let's continue our conversation another day." Watching the two of them leave, Lam Tien silently made a resolution in this life. "I must become stronger so as not to repeat the regrets of my past life, but with his current strength at the early stage of the gushing spring realm. Leveling up would be no easy task." And thinking this, he opened his device and began searching for a location with fire attribute spiritual energy. But while he was engrossed in his search, his phone suddenly rang, making Lam Tien jump. He answered the phone irritably. "Tien Bang, what are you calling for in the middle of the night?" And from the other end came a desperate cry for help. "Brother Lam, save me, my family's villa is haunted." He cursed in annoyance. "Are you insane? What kind of ghost are you talking about?" Tien Bang stammered. "I'm not lying to you, the mountain behind my family's villa has been struck by lightning all day without a single drop of rain." And hearing this, Lam Tien thought to himself, Could this kid have awakened the rare thunder attribute spiritual energy? He quickly asked Little Thoy. Describe the lightning situation at your place clearly, and Tianbang replied with a tremble, It's pitch black at my house, and the thunder and lightning are striking relentlessly. Brother Lam, save me, and Lam Tian immediately concluded that this was the sign of awakening thunder attribute spiritual energy, explaining to himself that spiritual energy attributes were divided into 3 tiers, common attributes being water, fire, wind, and earth. Rare attributes being ice, light, dark, and thunder, and the legendary attribute being void. Excited, Lam Tian rushed outside, thinking if there's really thunder spiritual energy, then I'm about to strike it rich. Before hanging up, he instructed in a stern voice, Tianbang, I'm on my way. Surround the mountain near your place, and don't let anyone in, understood? Tianbang, hiding behind a door, replied fearfully, who would possibly come in this kind of weather? Meanwhile, in another location, a woman signaled to 2 men to carry out a mission with her, and the blonde-haired man asked excitedly, Big sis, where are we going? The red-haired woman replied, A mountain is awakening with super strong thunder spiritual energy, and we must collect all of this energy. Before the disaster could spread, Lam Tian quickly left his home. Following Tianbang's directions after a long journey, he stood before a towering mountain rumbling with thunder and lightning, and seeing the sight, he rejoiced. It really is thunder attribute spiritual energy. I'm rich. Without hesitating, he rushed up the mountain, and the system displayed a notification. The thunder attribute is a rare type and requires double the spiritual energy of a common attribute. Are you sure? And Lam Tian immediately confirmed. The system began to draw a thunder attribute cultivation technique. And a moment later, a gemstone sparkling with blue lightning appeared as the system announced congratulations to the host for drawing an attribute cultivation technique. Blue thunder rushing thunder, Art Lam Tian took it and exclaimed with excitement, no wonder it's a rare attribute, even though it's a blue quality cultivation technique. This power is just too terrifying. Thunder attribute spiritual energy, here I come. At the same time, the other 3 people arrived at the foot of the mountain, and the blonde-haired man looked at the fierce lightning on the summit and exclaimed in alarm, Big sis, can we really control this thing? The person beside him asked worriedly, That's right, Big sis, is this thermos flask reliable? The red-haired woman snatched the flask from his hand and yelled, Give it here and cut the chatter. Then she frowned, sighed, and decisively aimed the flask at the heart of the lightning, causing the flask to absorb the thunder energy violently. The 2 young men cheered from the sidelines, Go, Big sis, you're awesome, Big sis, but after just a few minutes, cracks appeared on the thermos, and she was shocked. The spiritual energy is so strong that the flask can't withstand it. The next second, the flask shattered with a heaven-shaking explosion, and the red-haired woman was saved just in time by her subordinates as the lightning in the sky grew even more ferocious, as if it wanted to tear space itself apart. Everyone panicked and shouted, Run, the spiritual energy is out of control. As they were about to flee, the blue-haired man heard a noise in the bushes and turned around, startled, and Lam Tian stood up like a phantom, his cold expression terrifying the red-haired woman. The moment she saw him, she urgently warned, Run away quickly. This is not a place where ordinary people can come. Ignoring them, Lam Tian charged forward, shouting, I've come for this. Seeing him charge into the lightning, everyone was horrified. It's over. This guy is definitely dead. And one person shouted, Holy crap, what happened to you that made you so suicidal? Did you get cheated on or something? As the lightning crashed down with flashes that tore the sky, and Lam Tian charged in as a bolt struck him, directly causing him to roar in pain, while outside the 2 young men stared with their eyes wide and jaws agape. Is he that tough? Oh my God, could he be an immortal? The red-haired girl broke out in a cold sweat and exclaimed, How is he completely unharmed? Could it be that he has awakened the super-rare thunder system's spiritual energy? The crushing pressure of the lightning forced Lam Tian to his knees, but he stubbornly resisted, shouting, You want to make me kneel before you? Don't even dream of it, Lam Tian's eyes blazed as he roared in this life. This sky will no longer obscure my sight, and this earth will no longer control my heart. I want all living beings to understand my will. I want all Buddha's souls to be scattered to the winds. Lam Tian roared imposingly, declaring that in this life he would definitely rise to become an invincible expert as his eyes turned completely white and lightning shot from his mouth, merging with the terrifying power of the thunderstorm. At this moment, Lam Tian's body was suspended in midair, and feeling the surging energy flowing through him, he was silently satisfied with the new power he had obtained. The system's voice announced congratulations to the host for obtaining 2 types of spiritual energy, fire and thunder, and the system continued to ask, Do you wish to fuse these 2 types of spiritual energy to create an attribute spiritual energy of the legendary Thunderflame type? Hearing this, Lam Tien immediately agreed, shouting, "Combine them at once," and his body instantly fused the two streams of fire and thunder spiritual energy, erupting with a powerful pressure that shook the very space around him. After the fusion was complete, the corner of his mouth lifted slightly as he whispered, "So this is the legendary attribute spiritual energy. I can finally feel this power." The rain poured down like a waterfall as the scene shifted to the gate of an abandoned factory where three figures stood silently in the downpour, and the man slowly began to speak. Based on the previous analyses, this mutated beast is a giant python with the dark attribute, and Lan Nguye nodded in reply, "I know." After that, she carefully instructed her two teammates to crush the jade pendant if they encountered danger, to activate a light attribute protective shield powerful enough to save everyone's lives. Luna Lang loudly emphasized that the top priority in all actions was to ensure absolute safety with no recklessness. After saying that, she ordered the mission to begin. The three of them silently entered the warehouse as darkness enveloped them. A pair of blazing red eyes suddenly flashed in the dark. Luna Lang quickly sensed the danger and shouted, "Watch out," but it was too late. Suddenly, a terrifying aura surged forward, knocking all three of them back. A giant, ferocious python lunged at them, and the two men immediately drew their darts. They simultaneously threw them straight at the beast's head. Instantly, the python was completely frozen, its body stiff. Seeing this, the group cheered, "We did it." But just then, Luna Lang sensed something was wrong. She screamed, "Run!" The python easily shattered the surrounding ice. From its mouth, it spewed a toxic green gas. The poisonous gas spread, causing all three to become dizzy, gradually lose consciousness, and collapse to the ground. Luna Lang tried to cover her nose and with all her strength reported to headquarters through the communicator giant python. Just as she finished speaking, she couldn't hold on any longer and fainted. The python lunged forward and coiled around Luna Lang's body. Its eyes filled with desire. The scene changes to another location. An urgent voice rings out, "Little brother, I'm begging you." In the room, Director Liu Ying sat opposite Liu Lin, his voice full of worry. "Right now, you are the only one who can resolve this crisis." Liu Lin carefully read the information about the python, thinking to himself, the dark attribute is a rare one. Looking at the information, he felt a pang of regret if it weren't for the fact that he had no more attribute slots. He definitely wouldn't have passed up the chance to absorb this power. Director Liu Ying said worriedly, "That girl Luna Lang, her fate is unknown. The only hope is you, the one who has awakened the fire attribute." Liu Lin frowned slightly and asked suspiciously, "Director Liu, how did you know I awakened the fire attribute?" Hearing this, the director laughed awkwardly, scratching his head. "I had Luna Lang follow you before she saw you destroy the mutated dog with her own eyes." Hearing the reason, Liu Lin suddenly remembered the mutated dog from that day. He immediately realized it was their scheme. He looked coldly at Director Liu Ying and questioned, "You sent someone to follow me?" The director hesitated and explained, "I only did it for the safety of the people." After a moment of thought, Liu Lin nodded in agreement but demanded they stop following him. Director Liu Ying clasped his hands and promised, "You have my word, little brother." Then he asked, "How many people do you need for support?" Liu Lin turned his back and replied confidently, "I alone am enough." Meanwhile, at the factory, Luna Lang groggily woke up, startled by a blood-curdling scream in front of her. The giant python was swallowing a man whole. Luna Lang realized with horror that this python evolves by devouring cultivators. She staggered to her feet. She thought to herself, "I can't let it evolve successfully. Otherwise, the surrounding people would suffer a terrible disaster." The python spotted Luna Lang and immediately opened its mouth to lunge at her. She quickly cast a spell. She unleashed a powerful blow, causing the python to cough up blood in pain, but only a moment later her ice spell was shattered by it. Luna Lang was stunned as cold sweat trickled down her back. The enraged python lunged forward, attacking fiercely, knocking her down and making her spit blood. She realized with terror that it had successfully evolved. In a moment of despair, she could only watch helplessly as the giant python approached. Just in the nick of time, a figure walked in and spoke, "Oh crap, I'm here now. I just remembered, isn't this rundown factory the place I worked as a laborer after high school? The factory owner still owes me 1 month's salary. What bad luck." Luna Lang turned her head, recognized the familiar figure, and whispered, "Liu Lin." He replied loudly, "Director Liu sent me to get everyone out." "Me? Where are the others?" Luna Lang shouted worriedly. "Run. You're no match for it. It has already evolved to the 3rd stage. Liu Lin casually cleaned his ear and said in a calm voice, Yeah, I know. The one being rescued should just wait patiently, okay? Just don't run around." He leisurely walked up to the giant python without a trace of fear and declared, "Let me see what you're really made of." The python growled and lunged. A frantic Luna Lang screamed, "Leo Lin, run!" But Leo Lin erupted with the power of lightning and fire which swirled around him like a fierce whirlwind. In an instant, he threw a thunderous punch carrying flames, blasting it straight into the dark python. The punch landed, sending the python flying like a kite with a broken string. Luna Lang witnessed this scene and stood there dumbfounded, The giant python crashed to the ground with a loud thud. Luna Lang shouted, "Don't let it escape, Leo." Lin reached back, drew his sword, and reassured Luna Lang. "Don't worry, it's not getting away today." His lightning and fire power exploded, a flash of lightning in his eyes. He executed a thunderclap strike, lunging forward and slashing off the python's tail with his sword. Then he calmly sheathed his sword and his cold voice rang out, "It's done." Luna Lang clutched her wound and slowly stood up, looking at him with astonished eyes. You've actually finished awakening your attributes." He turned to look at her, thinking to himself, according to his memories, the Spirit Chi Cultivators Association had never done anything wrong. They only help people overcome difficulties, so it should be fine to reveal this to them. With that thought, he frankly admitted, "I have awakened 2 attributes, fire and lightning." Luna Lang was stunned, telling herself he will definitely become a super powerful expert in the future. Arriving back at the base, she immediately reported to Director Liu Ying that Leo Lin had admitted it himself. She said seriously, "He awakened 2 types of attributes, lightning and fire." Director Liu Ying nodded and smiled meaningfully. No wonder he demanded not to be followed anymore. He thought to himself, such a talent must definitely join the Spirit Chi Cultivators Association. Luna Lang asked again, "Director, so should we continue to monitor Leo Lin in the future?" He suddenly changed the subject, "You should also find a boyfriend." Hearing this, Luna Lang was baffled and confused. "Yes, sir." In a meeting everyone was discussing, one person spoke up, "Director Liu, regarding the matter of the Spirit Chi revival, we should announce it to the public." Junior Lee added, "There have been more and more troubles lately. We can't just keep treating everything as an accident, right?" The man opposite him retorted, "Are you crazy? Do you know how much trouble announcing this hastily will cause? But a few scoldings won't solve the problem then." Junior Lee frowned and replied, "How dare you say that? If the Spirit Chi matter had been announced, we could have evacuated the civilians from the factory incident in time yesterday." The man retorted, "Wasn't the factory incident ultimately resolved anyway?" The two sides grew tense, slamming the table and pointing at each other. The man shouted, "Is that how you solve things? Wasn't it because you kids called someone else to handle it?" Seeing the argument, Director Liu Ying frowned and interjected, "Stop arguing." The two stopped and turned to look at him. Director Liu Ying said softly, "Junior Lee, sit down, you're right. If Leo Lin hadn't intervened last night, I wouldn't have just lost my daughter and my subordinate. But the nearby civilians would have also been in danger." He analyzed, however, as the other members have said, announcing the Spirit Chi revival now would cause social chaos, so I propose a plan. Director Liu Ying took a pointer and pointed to the board, saying, "The areas I've marked are where Spirit Chi has recently revived. We can select these places as test sites, promoting them as tourist attractions to see how effective it is before deciding on the next step. What does everyone think?" Junior Lee immediately agreed, "Yes, let's try it as Director Liu suggests." The man next to him praised as expected of the director to come up with such a clever method. Director Liu Ying took out a file and continued, "If there are no other opinions, let's discuss the next matter." He distributed Leo Lin's file to everyone, saying, "Yesterday you all witnessed Leo Lin's strength. I want to invite him to join the association as the captain of a cultivation team. What do you all think?" One person spoke up, "I don't object to him joining, but making him a captain right away, isn't that a bit much?" Junior Lee agreed, "That's right. No one becomes a department head right after joining. You have to start from the bottom." Director Liu Ying persuaded, "You've all seen his strength. He's an awakener of 2 attributes, lightning and fire. If we give him too low a position, I'm afraid it will not only make him dissatisfied, but it's also unwise to offend such a talent." Oh, Junior Lee suggested, "Let's arrange a test for him." The other man agreed, "That's right. To be a captain, you need more than just strength." Director Liu Ying laughed. "Oh, so this is your idea. Don't regret it." Early in the morning, the scene shifts to a large building. Leo Lin, who was sound asleep, was suddenly startled by a noise. He shot up in bed, wondering if there was a burglar. Annoyed, he stepped out of his room, muttering, "Damn it, I'm so poor I can only afford the cheapest instant noodles and someone still dares to rob me. If I catch you, I'll show you." He aggressively opened the door and shouted, "You bold thief, bow your head and admit your mistake." Surprisingly, Luna Lang appeared from the kitchen, calmly sweeping with a broom in her hand. Seeing him, she gave a small greeting. Leo Lin nodded in response, but then suddenly realized something was off. He shouted, Wait a minute, why are you in my house? Didn't you say yesterday you'd stop following me? Luna Leng replied while cleaning, I'm not following you, I've come to live with you. Liu Lin froze, stunned. The two sat down in the living room to talk. He asked, so you people want me to take some kind of test? Luna Leng nodded yes. He closed his eyes and thought to himself, in just 3 more days the spirit chi will erupt. I can't waste any time. He firmly refused, but Luna Leng tried to persuade him. I know you think this trial slows down your cultivation, but this is a special trial for cultivators. Not only are new members participating, but the trial location has recently experienced a resurgence of spiritual energy. Although the level isn't high, there might be a fateful opportunity. Lam Tin recalled Leng Yue mentioning that To Vu Tin had also joined the association. He asked if Tu Vu Tin was participating. Leng Yue replied she's going too. He remembered Vu Tin once talking about a great opportunity there. After reconsidering, he changed his mind, saying, I need to find her for something, so I'll join this trial. At the stadium, everyone had gathered. Liu Ying spoke up. You all may have gotten used to a peaceful life. He warned that the world would soon no longer be peaceful, and death would become commonplace. In a moment, I will introduce a powerful cultivator who will be your captain, leading everyone in this trial. Second Lai Kai was curious about who the captain was. She recalled a conversation with someone in the association about a cultivator who glowed with light, but that person didn't believe it, thinking that no one could be that strong. Seeing her in thought, Tien Puang asked Sister Qi, what are you thinking about? Li Qi shook her head, nothing, just wondering what kind of person the upcoming captain is. Tien Puang sneered, what captain? Probably some rich young master here to coast by seeing a girl he's trying to show off. When that kid gets here, I'll teach him a lesson so he knows who's in charge here. Li Qi sighed in frustration and told him to behave and stop bragging. Afterward, Leng Yue walked beside Lam Tien, introducing the team. He would lead 5 people, 2 women, 3 men. Lam Tien assessed that aside from Tu Vu Tin's ice attribute, the others had rather ordinary attributes. Leng Yue pointed to one person and emphasized, you need to pay attention to Lu Tien Puang. He used to be a gangster's henchman. He unexpectedly awakened the wind attribute, but his personality is still hard to control. Lam Tien nodded, got it. As the two of them approached the area where everyone was gathered, Liu Ying announced that the group's captain had arrived. Lam Tin stepped forward, exuding a majestic aura. Attracting all eyes towards him, Vu Tin was slightly surprised, thinking to herself, isn't he the person my father mentioned, the one who saved me? Li Kai was also stunned, thinking it's him, the person who was struck by lightning on the mountain that day. Liu Ying spoke up, introducing Lam Tin as your captain. As he was speaking, a voice interrupted. Hold on. Liu Ying asked in surprise, Lu Tien Puang, do you have a problem? Lu Tien Puang replied with a disdainful look, Chief Liu, what's this kid's strength like? Shouldn't you let us test him with a few moves? Otherwise, once we're inside, who will listen to whom? Lam Tin smirked with an amused smile and asked back, what kind of show do you want to put on? Lu Tien Puang replied with a smug grin, of course we have to spar with us brothers. Lam Tin said coldly, without any respect, a piece of trash like you at the first realm of Courageous Spring is worthy of fighting me. Being openly disdained, Tien Puang turned purple with anger and shouted, you brat, are you looking for death? He erupted with a powerful aura and charged straight at Lam Tien. Lam Tien remained calm and taunted, is that all you've got? Just as Tien Puang rushed over, Liu Ying immediately dashed forward to block the attack. He warned sternly, Lu Tien Puang, do you dare to disobey the organization's orders? Tien Puang stammered, Chief Liu, that's not what I meant. But to be a captain, you must have strength. He turned to look at the crowd behind him and continued otherwise. The brothers won't be convinced, right? Seeing Tien Puang's expression, the crowd fearfully stammered in agreement. That's right, Chief Liu. We are cultivators. Strength is everything. If the new captain can't prove his ability, it will be hard for us to obey. Liu Ying calmly replied, you don't need to doubt little brother Lam Tien's strength. A few days ago, he single-handedly defeated the dark giant python and saved Leng Yue. Hearing this, Li Kai exclaimed in shock, what, he alone saved Sister Leng? Tien Puang snorted coldly, his contempt evident. I think he just got lucky that dark giant python is so powerful. How could it be defeated by one person alone? Liu Ying, not wanting to argue, warned sternly, everyone stand straight. Anyone who causes more trouble or challenges the rules will be expelled from the association immediately. Then he announced the content of the trial. This mission is to eliminate a creature called the Thorned Horror Beast. According to information from the association, this creature not only has a human-like form, but also has the ability to move freely. Before starting, Liu Ying seriously reminded everyone, perhaps you all thought this world was safe before, but I want to warn you that once you step onto the path of cultivation, death is always lurking nearby. His grave voice sent a shiver down everyone's spine. A moment later, the group entered the forest. Lam Tien observed his surroundings as he walked, thinking to himself, this is the designated location for the trial, but where is the monster? Could it have burrowed underground? Vu Tin asked worriedly, do we have to go through there? Lam Tien looked at the ancient trees surrounded by a thick spiritual aura, his heart full of questions. The closer to the trees, the stranger, the power, the spiritual energy radiated. But why haven't I seen the monster Chief Lu mentioned yet to ensure safety? He raised his voice to warn everyone not to get close to those ancient trees. He walked ahead, ordering everyone to continue searching for clues about the monster. Vu Tin and Li Qi obediently followed immediately. Tien Puang, standing behind, said arrogantly, Captain Lam, "You're not scared, are you? Don't tell me you're worried those ancient trees will uproot themselves and attack you." The crowd behind burst into loud laughter, mocking, "Ha ha, that's hilarious," Lam Tien replied wearily. "I've already warned you. If you insist on not listening, you'll bear the consequences yourself." Tien Puang angrily turned and walked away, saying, "Yeah, I want to see what kind of damn thing is over there standing before an ancient tree." Tien Puang wondered curiously, could this tree be something special? Why is the spiritual energy so strong? One of his men behind him eagerly suggested, "Boss, the spiritual energy here is so abundant, if we cultivate here, we'll definitely level up." Tien Puang thought excitedly, if I absorb all this spiritual energy, I can advance to the third realm of Courageous Spring. By then, even Leng Yue will have to listen to me thinking of the prospect of being surrounded by beautiful girls. Tien Puang laughed gleefully, "Brothers, while the spiritual energy is abundant, hurry up and cultivate." The three of them immediately sat down and began to cultivate. Vu Tin asked worriedly, "Captain Lam, will they be in danger?" Lam Tien replied, "No need to worry. If there's a problem, I'll step in." Li Kai turned and asked Captain Lam, "We've met before a few days ago, right?" Lam Tien was surprised. "Have we? I don't remember at all. Where was it?" Lai Qi replied, "On the mountain that was struck by lightning." Lam Tien suddenly remembered and smiled. "Oh, so it was you. Were you having a picnic there that day?" Li Kai said irritably, "What picnic?" "That day I was sent to handle the outbreak of lightning spiritual energy, and because of you I was scolded by my superiors for several hours." She resentfully blamed Lam Tien entirely. "I told them there was a man absorbing the lightning spiritual energy, but they said I was making things up. I just turn a deaf ear to whoever scolds me." Lam Tien quickly apologized to appease her, then told them both, "The spiritual energy here is very abundant. You two can go ahead and cultivate." Vu Tin asked curiously, "You're not going to cultivate?" Lam Tien thought to himself, "She's still as kind as in my past life." He smiled and replied, "The spiritual energy here isn't compatible with my attribute. You two go ahead and cultivate first." Then Li Kai pointed in a direction. Before she could finish her sentence, a scream rang out. "Boss, save me!" Lam Tien was startled and looked over only to see Tien Puang's group suddenly wrapped up by the branches of the ancient trees and pulled into the air. Lu Tien Puang trembled in panic, shouting, "What's happening? Why are these branches moving on their own?" The other two screamed in fear, "Boss, save me, I don't want to die." Tien Puang tried to stay calm, pulled out a dagger and reassured them, "I'm coming to help right now." He rushed forward and stabbed the branch with all his might, but the branch was unharmed, leaving Tien Puang horrified. "How can this be?" one of them shouted. "Boss, watch your left." Tien Puang quickly turned his head, but it was too late. A branch whipped towards him, striking him hard and making him cough up blood. Remembering Chief Liu's words about death always being a companion, Tien Puang despaired, "Am I going to die here?" The ancient tree stretched out, exuding a powerful aura. Suddenly, a stream of spiritual energy shot out, severing the branch. Tien Puang painfully struggled to his feet and stammered at Lam Tien, who was standing protectively in front of him, "Go quickly." Despite his injuries, Tien Puang still tried to stand up. "I can't abandon my brothers and run." Lam Tien glanced at him and assessed, "It seems you have some sense of loyalty." Tien Puang snapped, "Stop talking nonsense. When men go out, they must have a sense of honor." He bent down to pick up the dagger, thinking he would channel his lightning and fire energy into the blade. Lam Tien poured lightning into the dagger, causing the blade to glow brightly. Tien Puang's eyes widened in shock. What are you doing?" Lam Tien decisively threw the dagger towards the branches. The blade shot forward, forcing the monster to release the man. He hurriedly thanked him. "Thank you, boss, Captain Lam." "Thank you both for saving me," the monster roared, its whole body covered in thick demonic chi. Lam Tien shouted a warning. "This monster is about to reveal its true form. Run now." As soon as he finished speaking, the ground shook violently, causing everyone to stumble and shout, "What's happening? Is it an earthquake?" The bark of the ancient tree cracked open, revealing the umbral soul tree demon at the third realm of Courageous Spring, transformed into a monster with blazing red eyes. Everyone panicked and screamed, "What on earth is this monster?" Lam Tien unleashed his spiritual energy to encourage them. "Have you forgotten what Chief Lu said? This path of cultivation is destined to be one of life and death." His body overflowing with fierce fire and lightning spiritual energy, he declared coldly, "If you fear death, then leave this path now." The ferocious monster lunged forward, but Lam Tien nimbly dodged the blow and leaped up to avoid the next attack. Enraged, it roared and shot a barrage of vines toward him. Lam Tien retreated quickly and snorted coldly as the vines closed in. He unleashed his firepower, and a roaring flame erupted around his body, rushing straight at the monster without pause. He threw a lightning flame fist, combining lightning and fire, which shot toward the back of the monster. The surprise attack made it roar in agony as Tien Puang cried out in shock, "Damn it! Is he really that strong?" Li Kai couldn't hide his surprise. Is this the power of someone who has awakened the lightning attribute? Looking at Lam Tien, who seemed like a world-saving hero, she thought to herself, that must be it. Meanwhile, at the Spiritual Cultivation Association, everyone was abuzz with discussion. How could this person named Lam Tien possess such power? Liuan walked in and interrupted. "Does anyone else have an opinion on Lam Tien's position as team captain?" One young man quickly replied, "Nothing at all. We will follow Director Liu's lead." Suddenly, the room shook violently, causing everyone to panic. Lan Nguye spoke up, "Director Liu, this spiritual energy, could it be?" He hesitated. "It seems this can no longer be hidden." He revealed that Earth's spiritual energy had fully recovered, and the rules of the world were about to change. An image of the ancient tree monster appeared on the system screen as Lam Tien watched intently, thinking about his past life. Wu Tin once said there was a fateful opportunity here, but she had the ice attribute while this tree was clearly a wood attribute. Suddenly, a stream of ice spiritual energy shot up high next to the monster. Everyone gasped in amazement. Lam Tien suddenly understood because the Earth's spiritual energy had recovered. A powerful ice spiritual energy had appeared here in his past life. Wu Tin wasn't strong enough to absorb it. Wu Tin looked at the monster in astonishment and exclaimed, "Captain Lam is so strong, one punch caused the surrounding spiritual energy to erupt." Lam Tien quickly urged her to enter the cave. "Absorb the erupting ice attribute spiritual energy. This energy will make you stronger." She nodded and immediately followed his instructions. Lam Tien thought to himself, in this life, he and Wu Tin must become powerhouses. To make that despicable couple who harmed them in their past life pay a heavy price, he announced loudly, "A powerful ice attribute spiritual energy has appeared here since Wu Tin has also awakened the ice attribute. Let her cultivate here. Everyone wait a moment, then we'll all return safely." As night fell, the group went to a restaurant in a lively atmosphere. Everyone raised their glasses to congratulate Wu Tin on her breakthrough from the Gushing Spring First Realm to the Gushing Spring Third Realm. Wu Tin replied radiantly, "All of this success is thanks to Captain Lam and everyone else." Lu Tien Puang did a 180-degree turn in attitude, stepping forward with a bottle of wine to say, "Captain Lam, I had eyes but failed to see Mount Tai before. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive my mistakes from now on." Three other people with tears in their eyes said in unison, "Captain Lam, thank you for treating a nobody like me as a friend. From now on, my life, Lu Tien Puang's, belongs to you." Lam Tien waved his hand wearily. "There's no need to be so dramatic. From now on, we are brothers." Suddenly, a stern voice rang out, ordering everyone to leave the restaurant. A soldier entered and shouted, "Everyone leave this place immediately. We need to carry out a mission. Please cooperate." Observing the soldier, Lam Tien realized he was no ordinary soldier, but exuded the powerful aura of a cultivator. He frowned slightly, thinking to himself, aren't matters related to spiritual energy Director Lu's responsibility. So who is this squad he considered if the spiritual energy eruption belongs to Lai Kai and the others? This could be their chance to level up. The soldier looked towards Lam Tien's table. Seeing everyone still calm, he reminded them sternly, "Get out of here now." Tien Puang angrily slammed the table, stood up, and shouted, "How insolent! How dare you speak to my big brother like that? Do you have any idea who my big brother is?" The soldier coldly pointed his gun at Tien Puang's throat and warned, "Kneel or die," without a trace of fear. Tien Puang grabbed the barrel of the gun and threatened, "Let's see what you've got." Just as things were about to escalate, Lam Tien shouted stop. 3 hours earlier, in a meeting room, everyone was arguing fiercely. The spiritual energy suddenly recovered. We were completely unprepared. What should we do now? "The most important thing is to capture the escaped mutated hound," another person retorted. "I said from the beginning that we should have watched it more carefully," seeing everyone bickering. The captain irritably reminded them this is not the place to argue. After everyone settled down, he announced that the top priority was to capture the mutated dog to protect the civilians. He assigned Tuton and Trin Ngia the task of capturing the mutated dog before dawn. Yes, Trin Ngia stood up and replied, "I guarantee the mission will be completed." He continued, "Everyone return to the border immediately." The spiritual energy has fully recovered. The border will no longer be peaceful, everyone replied in unison. Yes, he added, Trin Ngia, you must capture the dog before dawn. Receiving the order, Trin Ngia acted quickly, informing the people in the east to speed up the evacuation. That beast could appear at any moment. Suddenly, he saw someone outside the restaurant. Lam Tien shouted, "Stop!" He stood up and told everyone not to cause trouble for the army. Hearing this, Tien Puang reluctantly complied. Lam Tien looked at the soldier and said, "We will leave immediately." The soldier snorted coldly. "Humph, consider yourself sensible." The group left the restaurant and Lam Tien continued. This afternoon, the spiritual energy has completely erupted. "From now on, we will face a world full of danger," he turned to Wu Tin. "When you get back, cultivate diligently. Your foundation is not yet stable. You must train step by step and not be hasty." Wu Tin nodded, "I know." Captain Lam had only taken a few steps when a voice called out. Little Lam Thien was startled, turned his head and shouted excitedly. Big Tun Trin Ngia cheerfully slapped him on the shoulder. "Little Lam, is it really you?" Wu Tin asked curiously, "Is that an acquaintance of yours?" Lam Thien smiled and introduced, "This is my best friend from high school, Ton Trin Ngia." Trin Ngia put his arm around his shoulder and greeted everyone with a smile. "I'm Lam Thien's good old dad, Ton Trin Ngia." Lam Thien frowned and retorted, "You unfilial brat. Clearly you're my good little boy, seeing the two having fun," Li Qi said. "Captain Lam will head back first and not disturb you. Catching up with your old friend Tien Puang." Also spoke up, "Big brother, we're leaving now." Lam Thien looked at Trin Ngia and praised, "You're doing well for yourself, kiddo. Looking at this military rank, you must have achieved great things, right?" Trin Ngia chuckled slyly. "Little Lam, let me tell you a secret that was just declassified this afternoon." Lam Thien continued, "The global spiritual energy has recovered. Right, this topic has been trending all afternoon." Trin Ngia leaned in and whispered, "I know you won't believe it, but let me tell you the reason this area is cordoned off. It's because an extremely powerful mutated dog is on the loose. Our team is here to protect the civilians." Lam Tien thought to himself, "So that's what this is about. Could this mutated dog be the one Lan Ngiet released during the previous experiment?" A soldier reported, "Captain Tone, the civilians have been evacuated." Trin Ngia nodded in satisfaction. "Good. Now we just have to wait for the stray dog to walk into the trap." Standing nearby, Lam Tien wanted to take this opportunity to see the army's strength. He patted Trin Ngia's shoulder and smiled. "Big Tun, let me have a look." Trin Ngia pondered for a moment, thinking it would be good for little Lam to learn about the world's changes early, lest his gentle nature put him at a disadvantage. He ordered Tu Truong, "Later, take Lam Tien to the safe zone outside the hunting perimeter to observe our team's strength." Tu Truong nodded. "Yes, Captain, all right." Tu Truong led Lam Tien away and reminded him, "Kid, I don't care what your relationship is with Captain Tun, but later you must listen to my orders, understand?" Lam Tien nodded and smiled. "All right, thank you in advance, big brother." After that, Lam Tien was taken to a safe area outside the hunting perimeter. From the outside, he observed quietly and assessed them mentally, although these soldiers were all equipped with guns based on the spiritual energy they emitted. They were probably only at the Gushing Spring First Realm, however, their overall strength was still quite impressive. Suddenly, he detected an unusual noise from inside the room. A soldier shouted a warning. "Be careful, the mutated hound is here." As soon as the mutated hound rushed out, the soldiers immediately surrounded it and opened fire simultaneously. The bullets hit the mutated hound's body directly, but they didn't cause any damage at all. On the contrary, it only enraged the beast, causing it to charge crazily and attack everyone standing outside. Lam Thien stood up agitated and worried inwardly. This mutated creature is at least at the Gushing Spring Third Realm. To think that such creatures could appear so easily when the Earth's spiritual energy has just begun to recover. Realizing the danger, Trin Ngia immediately rushed onto the battlefield, shouting, "Regular soldiers, fall back. Special task force members with me." After that, he ordered them to deploy the Black Tortoise formation to restrain the beast immediately. Everyone set up the formation surrounding the mutated hound from 4 sides while one person quickly grabbed its tail. While 2 others attacked simultaneously from both sides, the team worked together, delivering a flurry of blows that made the mutated hound howl in pain, its body thrashing violently. Seeing his chance, Trin Ngia didn't hesitate. He channeled his spiritual power, lunged forward, and shouted, "Die." He unleashed a powerful blow straight at the beast. Watching from a distance, Lam Tien breathed a sigh of relief. Although their strength was only at the 2nd level of the Yongquan realm, their unity and absolute trust in each other had helped them surpass their own limits. Lam Tien frowned slightly, thinking his worries were perhaps unnecessary. He turned away, muttering to himself that it was only a matter of time before they took down the aberrant hound. But unexpectedly, the seemingly fatal blow didn't finish the aberrant hound and instead made it roar even more fiercely. The aberrant hound's body swelled with each breath exhaling dense demonic energy, as if it wanted to swallow the entire space. Lam Thien turned his head in utter confusion. Trin Ninghia's face turned pale with horror, never expecting this beast would try to evolve. He immediately ordered everyone to stop it. Absolutely do not let it evolve, or we will all die. But as everyone charged forward, a wave of pressure erupted from the aberrant hound, blasting the entire group away. In the hazy mist, its colossal figure gradually faded. Then it silently vanished into the darkness. In just a flash, the aberrant hound reappeared with a new look, sharp spikes growing all over its body, its white eyes bloodshot and filled with murderous intent. Sister Nghia screamed in terror, "We're doomed." Looking at its giant body, he gritted his teeth. This beast really evolved. A few soldiers behind him panicked and asked, "What should we do now?" Sister Nghia replied coldly, her eyes blazing, "We'll fight it to the death. We absolutely cannot let it harm the civilians behind us." After that, Trin Ningxia and the Special Task Force charged forward. The aberrant hound roared ferociously and lunged forward. In a flash, he and the soldiers were knocked away like kites with their strings cut. Outside the barrier, everyone's faces turned pale with panic. Trin Ningxia was thrown and landed in a pile of rubble covered in blood with no strength left. He could only blink as he watched the aberrant hound charge towards him in a moment that was hanging by a thread. A wave of power rushed in, stopping the aberrant hound in its tracks. Trin Ningxia whispered, "Lam Tien." Lam Tien frowned angrily and shouted, "You dare hurt my brother's Dai." He unleashed a lightning strike. It made the aberrant hound shriek, its whole body convulsing violently. With just one blow, Lam Tien completely dominated and pushed back the monster in an instant. Trin Ningxia's eyes widened in astonishment. Lam Tien, you're a cultivator." Lam Thien turned his head, drew his dagger, and smirked. "I'll take care of this beast. We'll talk slowly later." The surrounding soldiers exclaimed in shock, so he's a cultivator. One blow injured an aberrant hound at the 4th level of the Yongquan realm. Is this kid really that strong? Lam Thien flew up his body enveloped in intense lightning. In his hand, a lightning blade shone as brightly as a thunderbolt. Realizing the danger, the aberrant hound turned to flee. Lam Thien was cold. "You can mess with anyone else, but if you mess with my people, there's no escape." As it tried to flee, he threw the lightning blade straight through its body. The aberrant hound coughed up blood and roared in pain. 2 soldiers quickly helped Trin Ningxia up. Trin Ningxia was surprised. "I never expected you to be a lightning attribute cultivator, and so powerful at that." The aberrant hound's eyes filled with rage as it roared and charged towards Lam Tien. He performed a technique, and the dagger in his hand flared with energy. As the beast lunged, he flew up and sliced it into 2 pieces with a single slash. The people around whispered in astonishment. His spiritual energy has just recovered, and he's already this strong. If he's given another 1.5 years, wouldn't he be even more terrifying? Trin Ningxia laughed excitedly. "He's truly a brother to me, Ton Trin Ningxia. Little lamb, well done." Lam Tien looked at the melting dagger in his hand, inwardly surprised that even a military-grade dagger couldn't withstand the lightning flame. He considered that he needed to find a weapon suitable for his spiritual energy. Trin Ningxia ran over excitedly, punched him on the shoulder, and said in amazement, "So strong, and you still hid it from me." Lam Tien said worriedly, "Your injuries aren't light." Trin Ningxia put his arm around his shoulder, waved his hand, and ordered his team hurry up and drag that beast away. Lam Tien and I are going for a few drinks. The scene changes to another location. On a computer screen, the footage of Lam Tien fighting the aberrant hound alone is replaying. Phi Phi asks, "Is this person your friend?" Trin Ningxia replied, "Not just a friend, we're brothers who've been through life and death together." Phi Phi thought to herself, "If we can recruit this talent into the army, our strength will increase significantly." She asked, "Have you invited Lam Tien to join the army yet?" Trin Ningxia scratched his head and said with a laugh, "I have. But he said he has already joined the Cultivator Association." Phi Phi was displeased. "It's that old geezer Liu Ying, isn't it? I'll go find him and demand the person right now." The next morning, Lam Tien returned home with a hamburger and a can of Coke. As he entered, he suddenly remembered he forgot to buy a portion for Lan Nuye. She was sitting on a chair and asked as soon as she saw him, "Did you participate in the army's operation last night?" Lam Tien calmly replied, "It was unexpected. I didn't intend to interfere at first, but I saw my brothers in trouble. Is something wrong?" Lan Nguye explained this morning, "The daughter of the army's commander-in-chief kept calling and bothering Director Liu, wanting you to join the army." Lam Tien asked, "What did you say to Uncle Liu?" Lan Nguye replied, "Director Liu has already handled it." "But that girl isn't easy to deal with. You should be careful for the next few days." Lam Tien didn't seem to care, so what? Does she want me to marry into her family or something? As they were talking, the phone rang. He answered, Big Ton, what's up? A loud voice came from the other end of the line. Is this Lam Tien? I am Tam Phi Phi Ton Trinangia Superior. Lam Tien paused and glanced at Lan Nguyet. Tam Phi Phi continued, I know of a place that contains powerful fire spiritual energy. Would you like to come see it? Hearing about the fire attribute, Lam Tien was overjoyed. He had been worrying about how to enhance his fire spiritual energy. And that night at a construction site, a few workers accidentally saw a blue flame floating in midair. When Phi Phi investigated, she discovered a swarm of ghost fires. At first, people thought it was superstition and invited a Taoist priest. Unexpectedly, the priest couldn't dispel the ghost fires and even made them stronger. Now the construction site is engulfed in a fierce fire. The army has sealed it off, but is helpless. Lam Tien sat in Phi Phi's supercar. She said yesterday afternoon after the spiritual energy recovered. The fire became even stronger. If we let it spread, the public will be in danger. Lam Tien asked the fire is still spreading. Phi Phi replied as she drove, that's right. Right now we can only expand the blockade. Suddenly she asked, I heard you and Lan Nye have some sort of relationship. Is that right? Lam Tien frantically said, Miss Tom, don't talk nonsense. Lan Nye was just sent by Director Lu to supervise me. Phi Phi cut him off. Don't be so quick to deny it. Listen to me. She said slowly, global spiritual energy has recovered. For the country's safety, we must establish an army of cultivators to deal with uncertain factors. The problem is that capable cultivators have all sorts of personalities. They're fine for fighting, but they can't train new recruits, she continued. Trin Ngia says you have a good character and great strength. Lam Tien frowned. You want me to join to train new cultivators? Phi Phi nodded, that's right. As long as you agree, all benefits are negotiable. So what do you say? Lam Tien turned away and refused. I'm sorry, I'm not capable of that right now. I want to prioritize training the people Director Lu entrusted to me. Phi Phi readily agreed, thinking to herself as expected, he's a man of loyalty and principle. They arrived at the construction site. The scene was chaotic, with people pushing and shoving noisily. Don't push, it's dangerous inside. Don't get any closer. Lam Tien and Phi Phi got out of the car and were about to enter when a voice called out. Lam Tien, why are you here? Quang Vu and Li Hu Dong stared at him in shock. Lam Tien thought to himself, why is this guy here? Quang Vu sneered sarcastically, so you're the one who bewitched Hu Dong. Judging by your style, you do have some substance. The reporters pointed their cameras at them. Lam Tien thought to himself, damn it, this is so unexpected. Well, this is going to make headlines. Quang Vu arrogantly declared, my brother. Although you still can't forget Hyodong, you must understand that there is an insurmountable chasm between you and her. Hyodong stood beside him, her eyes ice-cold. Lam Tien, I gave you a chance. You were the one who didn't cherish it. The surrounding crowd roared with excitement. It's so lively today. What a show. Has the pure-hearted warrior lost again? Lam Tien sighed in frustration, not bothering to argue with these two idiots. Phi Phi looked puzzled and turned to him, what's going on? Immediately, all eyes and camera lenses turned to Tom Phi Phi. Her stunning beauty left even Quang Vu dazed, thinking to himself that Hyodong couldn't compare. He hurried forward, extending a hand to introduce himself. Beautiful lady, my name is Quang Vu. Fifi didn't even glance at him and turned to ask Lam Tien, are these two your friends? Quang Vu was awkwardly ignored. Lam Tien replied disdainfully, that shameless pair. Let's go, don't waste time. With that said, the two of them turned and walked away, leaving Quang Vu staring blankly as the crowd burst out laughing and jeering. No wonder that kid dumped this girl. If it were me, I'd choose the other one over this one 1,000,000 times over. Hearing this, Hyodong trembled with anger, thinking to herself, how dare she act so high and mighty in front of me? She's just a little prettier, that's all. I'll make her suffer. Turning to see Quang Vu still mesmerized by Phi Phi, she shouted jealously, have you looked enough? She's gone. Quang Vu scratched his head, feigning innocence. Hyodong, it's a force of habit from my job. Hyodong thought resentfully, if it weren't for the money, I wouldn't even bother with you. Lam Tien and Tam Phi Phi approached the area. The spiritual energy was sealed off. Phi Phi confirmed with a soldier that the fire inside was getting stronger and they needed to expand the warning perimeter. Lam Tien asked in surprise, you still need to expand it. Phi Phi replied, unless we find a way to deal with it. He looked ahead in awe, so this is it. Phi Phi calmly confirmed, that's right. This place is filled with fire attribute spiritual energy. Seeing the strange device in her hand, Lam Tien curiously asked what she was holding. Vang Fai Fai explained that it was a spiritual energy concentration meter. She turned to a soldier and ordered to expand the warning perimeter by another 5 kilometers, possibly up to 10 kilometers. Suddenly, they were both startled. The soldier pointed and shouted, "What do you think you're doing?" as Lam Tien walked step by step into the spiritual energy zone. The panicked soldier asked Deputy Commander, "What should we do now?" Phi Phi stared at him tensely with suspicious eyes, wondering if he really had a way to control this flame. Lam Tien stared at the blue flame in front of him as the system's voice rang out. "A powerful fire attribute spiritual energy has been detected. Do you wish to absorb it?" He curved his lips into a smile. Why turn down a free meal? Without hesitation, he sat down, closed his eyes, and began to absorb the swirling energy stirring the air and alarming everyone. Such powerful energy? What level of cultivator is Lam Tien anyway? Phi Phi shielded herself from the wind, thinking if he absorbs all this fire spiritual energy. What realm will he reach, the 5th or the 6th? Lam Tien gradually finished. The system announced, "Fire attribute spiritual energy has reached level 2. Reward is a chance to draw a new fire attribute spell talisman." Yes, his entire body exuded a powerful aura as the system continued. "Congratulations, host, for upgrading fire spiritual energy to level 2, drawing a new cultivation technique." Now he made his selection and a golden light erupted. Lam Tien shouted in amazement, "It's gold, it's gold!" The system announced, "Azure Flame Immortal Art, a gold-tier fire attribute cultivation technique. Congratulations, host, for receiving a gold-tier technique for the first-time reward of 10 system points. The Azure Flame Immortal Art stores fire spiritual energy. It deals area of effect damage when attacking." Lam Tien excitedly commanded, "Absorb it now." The dense fire spiritual energy in the sky gradually dissipated and shrank. Phi Phi was astonished. What kind of monster is this kid? How could he absorb all of that powerful fire spiritual energy? A soldier stammered, "Could he be the incarnation of the fire god?" When it was over, Lam Tien calmly walked out. Tam Phi Phi ran over worriedly. "Are you okay?" He nodded. "I'm fine. Thank you for bringing me here." Suddenly, the spiritual energy meter in Phi Phi's hand shrieked violently. She panicked and threw it away, and the device exploded immediately after. Lam Tien dashed forward, holding Phi Phi tightly to shield her. Her heart pounded as she smiled to herself, thinking this man. "I must have him at all costs." That evening at a restaurant, Phi Phi asked doubtfully, "You mean you absorbed all the fire spiritual energy at the construction site into your body?" Lam Tien nodded. "That's right. I hope it didn't cause you any trouble." Phi Phi said excitedly, "Can you tell me your current cultivation realm?" Lam Tien hesitated. "Probably the peak of the Brave Spring 4th realm, about to break through to the 5th. Phi Phi was stunned. "You're only at the 4th realm." He scratched his head awkwardly. "My cultivation method is a bit special, how should I put it?" Seeing his discomfort, Phi Phi waved her hand. "It's all right, every cultivator has their secrets. If you don't want to say, I won't force you." Lam Tien smiled. "Thank you for understanding." Phi Phi continued to persuade him, "Have you considered joining our military department? The benefits here are much better than that rotten association." He refused. "Not for now. I don't want to join the military department yet." "Yes." Phi Phi didn't make it difficult. "All right, I won't force you, but I have to report today's events to Commander Tom, or I won't be able to explain it to my grandfather." He nodded, understood. Night had fallen. Lan Nguye sat in her room and received a message from Liu An call Lam Tien later to handle the Night Phantom monster mission. The PDF file about the spiritual energy recovery must be handled with care. She replied quickly, "Yes." Thinking that Lam Tien would be excited about the new mission, Lan Nguye became pensive for a moment. She stood up, closed the notebook, and walked out. Early the next morning, Lam Tien was sound asleep. When he was awakened by the delicious smell of food, he excitedly went down to the kitchen. "Lan Nguye, your breakfast smells amazing." Hearing no reply, he looked around confusedly and was surprised to see Tam Phi Phi sitting in his house. He jumped and shouted, "Tam Phi Phi, what are you doing here? Where did you get the key to my house?" "Yes," Phi Phi replied cheerfully. "I've gone through official military channels to requisition your house as a secret military location." Lam Tien was furious and yelled, "What do you mean official? There's nothing official about this." He stormed to Lan Nguye's room and banged on the door. "Lan Nguye, don't hide. Come out here. What kind of house-sitting is this?" But the room was empty. He was bewildered. "Where is she, Tom?" Phi Phi walked over and said, "When I arrived, there was no one in the house. Could it be they knew I was coming and retreated suddenly?" Lam Tien spotted a strange object. He curiously walked over, picked up the notebook, and his expression darkened as he read the words, "Night Phantom Mission. Phantom Monster." Yes. Seeing this, Lam Tien worried to himself, could Lan Nguye have acted on her own? Without another thought, he hurriedly threw on a jacket and rushed out, causing Phi Phi to ask in surprise, Lam Tien, "Where are you going in such a hurry?" He replied frantically, "Lan Nguyen is in danger. I have to find Chief Lu right away." Meanwhile, in the middle of the vast ocean, Lan Nguyen swam silently through the waves, thinking to herself, "Without Lam Tien, can I really not do anything?" She tried to hold her breath, thinking, "In the end, I'm still too weak." Then she dived deeper, using her spiritual energy to create an underwater barrier. Lan Nguyen exclaimed with joy's success. But just then, a chilling sensation washed over her. She turned around in alarm, only to see a giant fish charging at her with its mouth wide open. Lan Nguyen immediately shot an ice pillar towards it. But right after that, she sensed something unusual. A dense black aura emanated and enveloped her. The suffocating feeling made it hard for her to breathe. Lan Nguyen panicked, thinking, "This is bad. Something is draining my spiritual energy." She mustered her strength to swim upwards, thinking, "I can't let this monster keep absorbing spiritual energy or it will become even stronger." Yes. Just then, from a distance, the monster swung its tentacle, whipping it hard at Lan Nguyen. She was hit, spat out blood in pain, and fell, thinking helplessly, "Am I going to be swallowed by this monster?" In the nick of time, Lam Tien appeared. He swam over to support her, grabbing her shoulder and asking worriedly, "Are you okay?" Lan Nguyen whispered a warning. "Get out of here quickly. This monster seems to want to absorb spiritual energy." "Okay." He quickly held her and rushed to the surface. "Hurry up, I'll get you out first." The two of them shot up like an arrow and landed safely on the shore. Tam Phi Phi ran over, calling out loudly, "Lam Tien, you're out." She continued to ask, "So is the strange beast dealt with?" Lam Tien, supporting Lan Nguyen, replied, "Not yet. First, we need to help her regain consciousness." Phi Phi nodded. "Okay, I'll take her to the hospital right away." Lam Tien furrowed his brow, thinking to himself, "Once Lan Nguyen is safe, I'll go back and deal with that monster." The scene changed to the hospital. Lan Nguyen was lying on a hospital bed. Liuan held Lam Tien's hand gratefully. "Little brother, I truly thank you this time. Without you, this girl surely wouldn't have survived." Lam Tien replied, "Chief Lu, there's no need to be so formal. Please tell me the details of that mission." Liuan nodded and explained, "The monster is called the Night Phantom Monster. We've been tracking it for over half a year." Lam Tien was shocked. "Over half a year, doesn't that mean—" Liuan continued, "That's right. At that time, the number of people in the world who had come into contact with spiritual energy cultivation was less than 10. We've never seen its true form, but we suspect it's related to the shadow attribute. It hides at the bottom of the sea, swallowing surrounding spiritual energy to increase its power. With the recent recovery of spiritual energy, the monster has become extremely terrifying. It must be eliminated immediately or the public will face a catastrophic disaster." Liuan placed his trust in Lam Tien, asking him to take action. Lam Tien happily agreed, "All right. But I need your help with one thing." That night at Phi Phi's house, she called her grandfather to question him. "Why did you let Lam Tien take on this mission?" The person on the other end replied, "This is a test for him and also for the country," Phi Phi retorted. "But you didn't have to give him such a dangerous mission right from the start." So she got into the bathtub and continued for the Night Phantom Monster mission. The military sent a professional team where the weakest member was at the Brave Spring Third Realm, and yet they still failed. Her grandfather said irritably, "Phi Phi, I know you care about the boy, but we have no other choice. I've sent 3 elites from the military to support him. The global spiritual energy has recovered. The rules of the world are changing. If we fall behind, our country will be invaded and plundered. The Night Phantom Monsters area is the lowest A-level threat we can control. Overcoming this will give our country a voice in the world. What do you say?" Phi Phi hung up her heart full of worry, praying silently, "Lam Tien, you must return safely." Out there in a car, Vu Tin spoke up, "Captain Lam." He replied, "What is it?" Vu Tin scratched her head, wondering, "What mission are we going on?" "Why did you only bring me? Aren't Sister Kai and the others coming?" Lam Tien explained, "Among the 4 of you, only you have reached the Brave Spring Third Realm. I want to see if you've been slacking off. Here are the mission details." Vu Tin took it and said resolutely, "I will do my best not to disappoint Captain Lam." Lam Tien advised, "Don't worry too much. Think of this as a training opportunity." Chief Lu said the military will send people to support us. Vu Tin said firmly, "Understood." "I will give my all for Captain Lam." The driver announced, "We've arrived." The car stopped at the port. The two of them got out and saw 3 people waiting. The driver looked at them and remarked, "Cultivators these days are getting younger and younger." Lam Tien silently assessed him. Brave Spring Fourth Realm. In this situation, he's definitely an expert. He asked, Are you from the military department? Chu Mok introduced himself. I am Chu Mok. I hope the two of you don't slow us down. Vutin got angry. What do you mean by that? Do you have any idea how strong Captain Lam is? The brown-haired girl mediated. Come on now. Old Chu is a bit blunt, don't take it to heart. We're about to face a crisis together, it's not good to argue. The blonde-haired man turned his back. Everyone's here, let's go. Lam Thien smiled at Vutin. It's okay. Just do your job well. Vutin nodded. Yes, Captain Lam. The group dived down to the seabed. Suddenly, a dense demonic aura emanated. Chu Mok exclaimed in alarm, something is sucking the spiritual energy out of me. The other two said in unison, this is the corrosive ability of the shadow attribute. Be careful, we won't last long if we stay here. Vutin covered her mouth and whispered, Captain Lin, I feel so nauseous. Why does the sea smell so rotten? Lin Tian sighed and enveloped her with spiritual energy. Yes, he said, I've blocked part of the dark attribute's influence. Don't disappoint me. Vutin nodded yes. Chu Mok turned around frowning. We're all uncomfortable. Isn't that kid scared enough to wet his pants? Seeing the two of them so calm, Chu Mok was astonished. How are they acting like nothing is wrong? Chu Mok thought jealously they must be using all their spiritual energy to resist the darkness. When danger strikes, they'll be the first to fall. The blonde girl shouted, Be careful! A giant shadow slithered by under the sea. Chu Mok panicked. The monster is nearby. A fish with sharp teeth and blazing red eyes lunged up. Someone screamed in terror, It's here! Vutin raised her hand to attack, but Lin Tian stopped her. Don't be hasty. This fish isn't the monster's true form. Vutin was bewildered. What? Chu Mok rushed forward and shattered the fish with one move. He glanced smugly at Lin Tian. Kid, don't just stand there gawking. One slip-up and you're dead. Vutin said angrily, Are you an idiot? That was an illusion, didn't you realize? Chu Mok gritted his teeth. What illusion? This little girl is talking nonsense. The girl beside him shouted, Chu Mok, be careful. Suddenly, giant tentacles appeared, enveloping the whole group. Screams erupted. Where did these tentacles come from? A giant octopus emerged, its tentacles thrashing wildly. The girl realized and shouted loudly, Fifth Realm Valiant Spring, it turns out to be a Fifth Realm monster. The blonde-haired man sighed. I finally understand why we failed last time. Seeing the monster reveal its true form, Vutin executed the ice scythe round dance slash. Chu Mok panicked, Foolish girl, you're no match for it. Vutin didn't care. She unleashed her move, determined not to disappoint Lin Tian. She froze the monster and severed its tentacle. The monster roared in pain. Vutin cheered Captain Lin, I did it. But in just a moment, it broke the ice, its tentacle regrew and lunged with terrifying speed. Chu Mok yelled, Run! He couldn't escape in time and was struck by the monster spitting out dark red blood. Vutin rushed forward to counter without hesitation, but the monster easily shattered the ice and swung a tentacle at her. Vutin froze, her heart filled with fear. Am I going to die here? A brilliant golden light flashed, accompanied by a resonant voice. You did well. Vutin looked at Lin Tian standing before her and exclaimed in shock, Captain Lin, you just used your power to block the monster. He also reminded her to be more careful next time. Seeing Lin Tian's strength, the other two were horrified. One of them muttered that kid dared to block the tentacle's attack. But Chu Mok couldn't believe his eyes. His fire attributes spiritual energy. How could it be so different? How could it be so powerful? Could it really belong to that kid? The monster stared fiercely at Lin Tian. He showed no fear and said calmly, Earlier today you used your tentacle to injure Lang Nuyet, so now I'll do the same to you. Fair, isn't it? He drew a brilliant sword from its sheath, a dazzling light flashing. At the same time, he tested the sacred flame immortal art he had just obtained. Without hesitation, Lin Tian rushed forward, swinging the sword straight at the monster's head. Chu Mok scoffed, Foolish, how could the body of a Fifth Realm Valiant Spring be harmed by a dull blade? Lin Tian paid him no mind and muttered, Sacred flame immortal art. The sword instantly erupted in a brilliant flame exuding a powerful aura. He swung the sword and the flame engulfed the monster's entire body. It shrieked miserably in pain. A heaven-shaking explosion rang out. Chu Mok was stunned and blurted out, What's happening? What is this power? Only now did Chu Mok believe the Commander-in-Chief's words. He recalled their previous conversation. Back then, he had been doubtful. Commander, you think too highly of him. How strong can a rogue cultivator be without the military's resources? The commander had replied calmly, Chu Mok, I know you're arrogant, but Lin Tian's strength cannot be underestimated. Ordinary people see cultivators like a frog in a well looking at the moon. But current cultivators looking at Lin Tian are like a speck of dust looking up at the blue sky. He is someone we must recruit, not antagonize. Now Chu Mok's eyes were opened. He thought to himself, with such talent, what realm would he reach if he were nurtured by the military? He turned to assess Vu Tin. This girl is his subordinate. She's fearless in danger, calm and composed. At such a young age, she has already reached the third realm Valiant Spring. Her future is surely bright. Chumak suddenly felt ashamed and muttered, "It seems I'm getting old." The brown-haired girl supported her blonde teammate and asked worriedly, "Chumak, are you okay?" Chumak was embarrassed. "Sorry, just now I was only focused on surviving." The blonde man said cheerfully, "It's all right, just treat us to a round of drinks later." Chumak smiled, "Okay, I'll go apologize first. Then we'll drink until we drop." He walked up to Lin Tian and hesitated. "Thank you for saving me and my teammates. I was wrong before." Lin Tian shook his head. "Captain Chu, you were just worried about everyone. Don't take it to heart." Chumak nodded and thanked him again. Vu Tin pinched her nose and urged, "Let's hurry up, it stinks to high heaven here." As the group swam to the surface, Lin Tian suddenly stopped. Seeing him dazed, Vu Tin asked Captain Lin what's wrong. He replied, "You all go up first. Let me see what's down here." With that, he dived to the seabed. In the distance, he saw a brilliantly glowing object. Lin Tian was amazed. Stardew flowers, not just one, but two of them. He quickly picked them, thinking happily this time Vu Tin and Lang and Guyet can increase their strength. Lin Tian swam to the surface and saw no one. Lin Tian looked around. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. "Are you Mr. Lin?" A handsome young man walked over. Lin Tian was shocked and wondered when did he get so close without me sensing him. He asked, "Who are you?" The young man handed him a business card and introduced himself. "I am Lei Na, the young Miss's bodyguard." Lei Na explained a few days ago the young miss was busy with a mission, so she couldn't meet you right away. In the future, if you need help, you can call this number. Lin Tian asked curiously, "Who is the young miss you mentioned?" Lei Na replied, "Commander Shen's granddaughter, Miss Shen Fei Fei." He thought to himself, it's her indeed. Among my acquaintances, only she would have such a high-level bodyguard. He observed Lei Na. Lin Tian couldn't see through his strength and guessed could he be an Iron Vein realm cultivator. He then asked, "What are you looking for me for? Where are my friends?" Lei Na replied, "Vu Tin has been taken back by a private car. Chumak and the other two were also picked up by the military. I waited for you because the commander-in-chief wants to see you." Lin Tian was stunned. The commander-in-chief of the military. Lei Na nodded. "That's right. Please follow me." He opened the car door formally and said, "Please get in." Commander Shen sat inside the car and smiled. "Young man, you must be Lin Tian, right?" "My granddaughter talks about you all the time." Lin Tian sat down. He continued, "I heard from my granddaughter that you sealed a heavenly flame in your body." He nodded, "That's right." Commander Shen was amazed, as expected, of the era of spiritual energy revival. Anything can happen. He praised, "Without the military's backing, an expert like you still emerged." "It's truly a blessing for our country," Lin Tian replied humbly. "Commander Shen, you're too kind. I was just lucky." He was pleased, humble, but not weak, calm, but not arrogant. Truly, the young man my granddaughter has her eye on. He expressed his concern. The world is undergoing great changes and anomalies are becoming more frequent. For ordinary people who haven't adapted yet, it's a disaster, Lin Tian said firmly. "Commander, rest assured, as long as I'm alive, if I encounter anomalies harming the people, I will absolutely not stand by and do nothing." Commander Shen said seriously, "I'm not saying this to bind you, I just hope you can quickly increase your strength. Dark spiritual energy is the most troublesome because it makes living beings lose their minds, turning them into monsters. Only your lightning attribute spiritual energy can counter it. Grow up quickly for yourself and for the country." "Yes," Lin Tian said decisively, "I will do my best to cultivate." He handed him a phone. "This is a specialized military phone. It can't be tapped. If you need anything, call me directly." Lin Tian was a bit flustered. "Thank you, Commander-in-Chief. Actually, there's something I need to ask you." He took out his sword and explained, "This is a weapon Director Liu helped me get, but it can't withstand my spiritual energy." Commander Shen looked at the cracks on the sword in amazement. "This sword is old Liu's treasure, yet it's damaged like this. Just how powerful is your spiritual energy?" He laughed. "Leave this to me. In a few days, I'll bring you a sturdier sword." Lin Tian was overjoyed. "Thank you, Commander-in-Chief." Lin Tian got out of the car. Lin Tian pondered, "I can't let my guard down for even a moment." Suddenly, his phone rang. He answered and asked Director Liu, "What's wrong?" Liu An said anxiously, "Something's wrong with Lang Nuyet." Lin Tian's face paled. "What happened?" "In the emergency room. The doctors were in a panic. Her heart rate is slowing down. One person urged we have to extract the dark spiritual energy from her body. Another doctor objected, "No, we can't. She's in a coma. Forcibly removing the spiritual energy will cause the rest of it to run rampant." The other person worried, "Then what do we do? Are we just going to watch her die?" Outside the room, Liu An held his head, blaming himself. "It's all my fault." Lin Tian walked over. "Director Liu, I'm here." He stood up resolutely. "You're finally here." He asked worriedly how is Lang Nuye's condition. "She was fine when I left. Why did this happen so suddenly?" Liuan frowned. "Do you know the characteristics of dark spiritual energy?" Lin Tian replied, "It makes living beings lose their minds." Liuan continued. "Lang Nguyet has been very strong-willed since she was a child. After asking for your help that time, she doubted her own abilities, so she took on a mission on her own without discussing it with you," he said regretfully. "If I had known earlier, I would have had her bring you along before assigning the mission." Lin Tian anxiously asked the system, "Is there any way to save Lang Nguyet?" The system displayed a notification. "Please touch Lang Nguyet's body for 3 minutes. The system will help the host check for a cure." He immediately rushed into the emergency room. Despite the bewildered looks from the doctors, one of them shouted for a nurse to throw this guy out immediately. Lin Tian stepped forward, pushed the doctor, and yelled, "If you can't cure her, then stop putting on a show." He took Lang Yue's hand to let the system begin its diagnosis, an action that confused and angered everyone who yelled, "Where did this insolent brat crawl out from?" "Let go of her hand now. Have you been watching too many web series and power fantasy stories? Do you think you can cure an illness just by checking her pulse? Get out and stop interfering with Miss Lang's treatment. Otherwise, when Chief Lu holds you responsible, you won't be able to handle it." Dr. Six furiously shouted, "Security! Where's security? Who let this brat in?" Liu Ying slowly walked in and said, "I was the one who let him in." Dr. Six stammered awkwardly, "Chief Lu, I didn't mean it like that. It's just Miss Lang's injuries." Liu Ying said calmly, "Just let Lin Tian give it a try. If he can't save her either, then this old man will be the one who killed this girl." Dr. Six looked at Lin Tian, wondering what kind of background this kid had to make Chief Lu speak this way. Step 1, the system announced scanning. 62%, 84%. It then provided a treatment plan for Lang Yue. Step 1, grind the Stardew flower into a powder and have the patient ingest it to disrupt the balance of spiritual energy, the ice and dark energies in her body. Step 2, transfer lightning spiritual energy from the host into Lang Yue, guiding the lightning to eliminate the dark spiritual energy. Step 3, harmonize the lightning and ice spiritual energies within her body, while slowly withdrawing the lightning spiritual energy. Step 4, the process will take 3 hours and the host must maintain physical contact with Lang Yue. Lin Tian turned to Liu Ying and said, "I have a way to save her. But I need everyone to leave the room." Dr. Six was perplexed. "Leave? What kind of treatment can't be witnessed by others?" Lin Tian erupted with a powerful lightning aura, his voice stern. "In this state, I can only guarantee Lang Yue's safety, not yours. Do you understand?" Liu Ying commanded do as Lin Tian says now. No one dared to disobey, and they all left the emergency room. Lin Tian ground the Stardew flower into a powder, mixed it with water, and carefully helped Lang Yue drink it. As the medicine took effect, she began to convulse her body, growing cold and turning purple. Lin Tian immediately channeled lightning spiritual energy into her, starting the treatment. Several hours later, Lang Yue slowly woke up. Opening her eyes, she was surprised. Lin Tian," he smiled. "You're finally awake. Don't be so reckless next time." Lang Yue asked, "Was it you who saved me?" Lin Tian yawned. "It's a good thing I found 2 Stardew flowers at the bottom of the sea, otherwise I wouldn't have had any idea how to save you." She turned her face away and asked, "Do you think I'm just holding you back?" Lin Tian was surprised. "Why would you think that? You're a 3rd-level Yongquan realm cultivator, practically invincible at this stage." Lang Yue said, ashamed, "But I'm still weaker than you." Lin Tian countered, "Don't be so stubborn. It's not that you're weak, it's that I'm overwhelmingly strong. Have you ever met anyone as powerful as me?" Lang Yue's expression darkened. "Before meeting you, I had never encountered a worthy opponent. I was even confident I could surpass Chief Lu within 5 years." Lin Tian waved his hand. "If you're all right. I'm going to go. I've been busy all night and haven't slept a wink. The day after tomorrow, meet me in the forest outside the city. I'll take you for some recovery training, so don't be late." The next morning in the forest, Lang Yue was battling a monster. She moved like the wind, felling the beast with ease. Lin Tian watched and praised her. "I told you that you were very strong." He looked at the monster lying in a pool of its own blood. "This mutated wolf was at the peak of the 3rd-level Yongquan realm, yet you sent it flying with 1 kick. Your power is definitely at the 4th-level Yongquan realm now." Lang Yue turned away coldly. "I don't need your flattery. I know where I stand." Lin Tian forced a smile. "All right then. The recovery training is almost complete. We should—" Before he could finish his sentence, a loud explosion resounded from afar. Lang Yue was startled. An explosion. The system announced, "Extremely powerful dark spiritual energy detected. Please be cautious." Lin Tian explained that was no ordinary explosion. Deep in the forest, dark spiritual energy is going wild. Leng Yue was stunned. What did you say? In another part of the forest, a group was happily camping in a clearing. Jiang Yu was coaxing Xiao Tong, "I'll catch a huge fish and make skewers for you." She sulked and pushed his hand away. "Who wants your grilled skewers?" She then walked coldly over to Xiao Shui. "Let me help you with the tent." Seeing Xiao Tong's chilly demeanor, a brown-haired young man asked Brother Jiang, "Did you have a fight with Sister Xiao Tong?" Jiang Yu said awkwardly, "I checked out a pretty girl a few days ago, so she's been giving me the cold shoulder." The brown-haired guy laughed teasingly, "Ha, no worries. Next time you want to hit on a girl, just make sure you're not doing it right in front of Sister Xiao Tong." Jiang Yu retorted, "You have no idea how smoking hot that girl was." The brown-haired guy teased, "So she's the one who's got Brother Jiang so captivated. I'll have to meet her sometime." But then Xiao Shui grabbed his ear and yelled, "Get over here and set up my tent now." He clutched his ear, pleading, "Xiao Shui, I was just joking. You know I only love you." Frustrated, Jiang Yu went to gather firewood. Deep in the forest, while picking up branches, he suddenly spotted a vibrant flower radiating a strange purple aura. He wondered curiously, what is this? He remembered a broadcast from the World Union Council announcing that Earth had entered an era of global spiritual energy revival and that opportunities were now everywhere. Jiang Yu stared intently at the flower. He was mesmerized by its strange allure. An image of the seductive Shen Feifei flashed through his mind, filling his heart with ambition. He screamed with desire, "This is my power, a heaven-sent chance to become a king." His mind spiraled into madness. He roared, "Lin Tian, I will stomp you under my boot." He madly tore off the petals and devoured them, muttering, "I will turn you into a stray dog in front of that woman. Just like you did to me with Li Xiao Tong." Suddenly his eyes rolled back and his body trembled violently. A dark aura burst forth, enveloping him as he laughed madly, his eyes filled with ecstasy. "This is power." What an amazing feeling! From afar, cries for help echoed. Xiao Tong's group was surrounded by a pack of wolves. Jiang Yu rushed over. "Is everyone okay?" He flew up and kicked the wolves away. Xiao Tong screamed, "Brother Jiang, be careful, that's a pack of wolves." He replied confidently, "Relax in my presence, they are merely ants." Xiao Tong's eyes widened as she thought, what is going on? How did Jiang Yu suddenly become so powerful? Is this even a level of strength a human can possess? The brown-haired guy exclaimed excitedly, "Holy crap, Brother Jiang has become one of those spiritual energy cultivators from the news, hasn't he?" Xiao Tong was stunned. "What? This is a cultivator? I never imagined they were so incredibly powerful." A smug smile appeared on her face. "A man this powerful must belong to me, Li Xiao Tong." Meanwhile, Lin Tian was warning Leng Yue, "Be careful, we're getting close to the surge of dark spiritual energy." She could sense it as well. Suddenly he stopped and yelled, "Hold on!" He grabbed her hand and jumped up into a tree. Below, a pack of mutated wolves was fleeing in chaos. Leng Yue asked, perplexed, what's happening? What could this pack of wolves have encountered? Lin Tian spotted one wolf with a deep slash oozing black blood and recognized the traces of dark energy. Leng Yue asked, "Should we inform Chief Liu?" Lin Tian replied, "Let's investigate first. If we don't, he'll just send someone else anyway." He leaped down to block the pack, declaring, "I made a promise to Commander-in-Chief Shen that I would not allow you to rampage into the city." He released a blast of lightning, annihilating the wolf pack in the blink of an eye. He then called to Leng Yue, "Let's move." After the two had traveled some distance, they spotted a tent ahead. Leng Yue frowned. "There are people camping here." While Lin Tian's focus was elsewhere, Jiang Yu suddenly appeared, launching a surprise attack. Leng Yue managed to parry it just in time. Seeing her, Jiang Yu felt a surge of jealousy. This girl was as beautiful and powerful as the other one. "Damn it, how does Lin Tian know so many gorgeous women?" He chuckled. "Your skills aren't half bad, little lady. Let me buy you a drink later, what do you say?" Leng Yue retreated, wondering who he was and why he was attacking Lin Tian. Jiang Yu pointed at Lin Tian. "I've got a grudge against him, and I need to teach him a lesson." Leng Yue retorted angrily. "A lesson? If I hadn't spotted you in time, he would have been in danger." That attack was no mere lesson. Lin Tian cleared his throat. "You swallowed a dark spiritual energy treasure to become a cultivator, correct?" Jiang Yu laughed heartily and admitted, "That's right. I am a powerful cultivator now." Lin Tian pressed him. "You were the one who drove away that pack of wolves earlier, right? Do you realize how many innocent people would have died if that pack had reached the city?" Jiang Yu sneered. "I'm a cultivator. I couldn't care less about that trash." Leng Yue was furious at his shamelessness. Lin Tian sighed. "Don't waste your words. What he needs is a punch, not a lecture." Jiang Yu said smugly, "Very good, Lin Tian. So you finally stopped cowering." He unleashed a powerful dark aura. Jiang Yu laughed wildly. Let me show you the true meaning of a cultivator." The aura surged from him and enveloped Lin Tian. Feeling the heavy pressure, Lin Tian circulated his lightning-type spiritual energy. His gaze became pensive, this level of spiritual energy. It's probably the second-level Yongquan realm. He thought to himself, so this is what the world is like after the spiritual energy revival. Just a single fruit can grant someone such a massive breakthrough. Jiang Yu suddenly charged from behind, launching a surprise attack, but Lin Tian swiftly blocked it with his hand. He sneered mockingly. "Not bad. Looks like you've got some power, too." Lin Tian frowned, his tone dripping with disdain. "Is this all the power you have?" Enraged, Jiang Yu roared. "You're looking for death!" He lunged at Lin Tian, who met his attack effortlessly, deflecting every blow. Jiang Yu was stunned, unable to believe his every move was so easily countered. Lin Tian said coldly, "You're far too weak, Jiang Yu." His eyes were filled with disdain. "If you weren't a cultivator, meeting me would be like seeing the moon in summer. But since you are a cultivator, meeting me is like a speck of dust meeting the vast sky." As he spoke, he lunged forward, delivering a powerful punch that taught Jiang Yu a lesson he would never forget. He collapsed to the ground, muttering, How can this be?" The crowd cried out in alarm. "Brother Jiang, are you all right?" Zhao Tong blinked her eyes, unable to believe that Lin Tian was this powerful. He even defeated Jiang Yu. She gritted her teeth, thinking, damn it, if I had known earlier, I would never have opposed Lin Tian. Lin Tian flew to Leng Yue's side and commanded take all of them back for interrogation. "Let's see if anyone else has any faded opportunities." She nodded, "All right. I will immediately inform Director Liu to seal off this mountain." Jiang Yu collapsed to the ground in despair. "I can't believe I lost to that bastard Lin Tian, damn him." Suddenly a whisper echoed in his head. "Do you desire power?" For Jiang Yu, the vague voice grew clearer, as if urging from the abyss, "Do you desire power?" The scenery blurred, shifting into a bizarre space. Jiang Yu knelt before a demon whose blazing red eyes stared at him. He screamed, "I want power. I want invincible power as long as I can stomp on Lin Tian. I am willing to pay any price." The demon released a powerful aura, transferring spiritual energy into Jiang Yu's forehead. He felt a frenzied power flooding his body and screamed, "This is the power I wanted. This feeling is incredible." Leng Yue ordered them to take the group back to the association for debriefing when suddenly Jiang Yu erupted with ferocious power. A violent aura spread out. Lin Tian pulled Leng Yue away, warning, "Be careful." Jiang Yu's aura was so strong that the surrounding flowers and grass withered upon contact. Those nearby had their spiritual energy drained, their eyes rolling back as they screamed, "Ah, no, I don't want to die." Lin Tian spoke up just as Commander Shen said. Leng Yue was bewildered. What in the world is happening? A hazy shadow enveloped Jiang Yu, accompanied by a demonic voice. A second later, the demon completely possessed his body, revealed its true form, and laughed loudly. "I have returned to this wonderful world once more." Leng Yue was stunned. What is this? He broke through from the second level of the Yongquan realm to the fourth. In the blink of an eye, Lin Tian warned her, "Be careful, that is no longer the person you know." The system chimed elementary dark-type monster detected Dark Monarch. The mission panel appeared defeat the Dark Monarch. Reward 1 new spiritual energy attribute cultivation pill. Lin Tian looked at the monster. He had never encountered this type before. He felt curious but was puzzled about its attack methods. The demon was disappointed. This human's flesh vessel is too weak to form a complete body. It glanced at Lin Tian and Leng Yue. Noticing their powerful spiritual energy, it was pleased. "If I can devour these two people, my power will recover significantly." Targeting the weaker Leng Yue, it lunged forward to attack. Seeing the projectile heading for Leng Yue, Lin Tian cast a spell, unleashing a fire array. It laughed in amusement. "Oh, not bad, young man. You skillfully managed to block my attack." Lin Tian asked coldly, "What are you and where is Jiang Yu?" The Dark Monarch threatened, "You are not worthy of knowing who I am. Mortals need only submit or die." Lin Tian replied in annoyance, "It seems I'll have to teach you a lesson." "You just don't know how to speak properly." It burst out laughing contemptuously. "Ha ha, truly interesting mortals to think you would dare teach me a lesson." It unleashed a demonic dark space, threatening, "I will let you experience ultimate darkness." See just how terrifying it is. Darkness engulfed the space around Lin Tian. At that moment, Leng Yue screamed Lin Tian's name in a panic. She rushed forward and launched a full-power counterattack, but her strike hit the dark sphere to no effect. He gloated, "With this level of power, you can't break through. Just be good and let me devour you." Suddenly, Lin Tian's hand pierced through the dark shell. The Dark Monarch startled his eyes wide as the sphere began to crack. A blinding light flashed and Lin Tian completely shattered the sphere. With a cold gaze, he asked, "Is that all the power you have?" He sneered foolishly just because you broke my dark space. "Do you think you can fight me now?" Then Leng Yue ran over and suggested they fight him together. Lin Tian refused, telling her to stand still. "I want to test my full power." She was confused about what full power meant. He then erupted with ferocious lightning and fire energy. This is what I mean. He charged toward the Dark Monarch and unleashed a powerful move. A tempest of power erupted, shaking the very space around them. A loud explosion echoed as earth and rock were sent flying everywhere. The Dark Monarch fell to the ground in disbelief. "I can't believe I was pinned down by a weak human." Lin Tian mocked. "Are you scared now?" He furiously charged forward, shouting, "Wretched human, you dare to look down on me. You're seeking death." He attacked wildly, but Lin Tian dodged with lightning speed and effortless grace, his expression calm. He blocked the attack with a single hand. The Dark Monarch broke out in a cold sweat, unable to believe he had blocked the blow unharmed. Lin Tian remarked, "Is that look on your face fear now?" He sighed in disappointment. "It seems you can't even make me use my full strength. You truly disappoint me." The monarch dared not utter a word, thinking to himself, "This guy is no ordinary human. His power is even greater than mine right now." Realizing he had met a formidable opponent, he panicked and fled, screaming, "I absolutely cannot die here. I must devour more humans to gain immense power, then I'll kill him to get my revenge." Lin Tian radiated a murderous aura. "Did I say you could leave?" The Dark Monarch howled in agony. His body convulsed and dissolved into black smoke to escape. Lin Tian was astonished he'd abandoned most of his body just to live. Leng Yue asked worriedly, "Lin Tian, are you all right?" He replied, "I'm fine." He told her a part of that demon escaped. "You must contact Chief Lu immediately." Outside the city, thick dark clouds gathered as warning sirens blared everywhere. Heavy rain will arrive this afternoon due to a cold front. The Meteorological Bureau issued a red rain alert advising people to stay indoors. The situation sent the entire city into a commotion. Someone shouted, "I'm telling you for real, something big is definitely happening this afternoon. In a little while, I'll put on a show and get struck by lightning for you all to see." In another corner, a girl walking down the street was cursing angrily. It's obviously all his fault. The girl grumbled resentfully as she walked. "He said we would go out and have fun today. Why cancel just because of the rain?" Suddenly, she heard a strange noise and jumped, turning around to shout, "Who's there?" She looked around and realized she was in a deserted area. At that moment, she was completely terrified. From afar, a mutated bat with blood-red eyes swooped down. It flew towards her as fast as an arrow, causing her to scream in terror. Just as the bat was about to attack, a burst of power erupted and knocked it back. A voice rang out, "Did you not hear the news today?" Lin Tian stood on the roof of a car and warned her, "Go home immediately. It's very dangerous outside, and the weather is unstable. Don't go out until you're told it's safe." The girl saw Lin Tian, and her eyes lit up completely, forgetting her modesty as she screamed, "So handsome, so handsome." Lin Tian took out his phone and called Leng Yue. "What's the situation?" On the other end of the line, Leng Yue replied, "The dark creature has escaped, and it's much harder to deal with than we imagined." She said anxiously, "The dark monster has split itself into countless bats. They're attacking the city, indiscriminately devouring human spiritual energy to evolve. Some of the bats we've destroyed had already reached the Springflow Realm Level 2, and they're still growing stronger." Lin Tian's face darkened as he thought these bats are trying to use the citizens as an energy source to evolve. If they reach the Springflow Realm Level 3 and merge back into the dark creature, I'm afraid even I will have trouble. He resolved to destroy them before that could happen. The bats rampaged everywhere, plunging the city into darkness. The demon thought to itself, "Once I devour this entire city, I will recover my peak strength. Then I will make that human wish he were dead." The next morning, dozens of armored vehicles sped down the highway. Soldiers were deployed in dense formations. The scene cut to the Spirit Association headquarters where a hand was typing furiously on a keyboard, its screen flashing. On social media, news of the bats was spreading like wildfire. It caused chaos among the public. "Is this the apocalypse? I saw a bat suck a person dry into a mummy. They're mutated bats. I saw a giant save my life. Something is banging on my door. I'm too afraid to look. That handsome young man saved me. I'm willing to marry him." Shen Fei scrolled through the comments and frowned. "This is so annoying. Why can't they just stay home quietly instead of posting things to cause panic? Isn't it bad enough that these dark monsters are so powerful?" She grumbled resentfully. "Can't we just shut down their internet? Tens of millions of people are posting. How can our army of a few tens of thousands delete it all?" Lena scratched his head. "Young miss, cutting off the internet would cause even more panic among the public." Fei snapped, "I know I'm just venting, it's infuriating." She asked urgently. Lei Na, has the army still not been able to enter? Lei Na explained for the past half an hour. All roads into Tianhai City have been completely blocked by Springflow Realm Level 3 bats. They can't get in immediately. I hope you can be patient, young miss. Fei Fei worried for Lin Tian's safety. The scene shifted to the Spirit Association headquarters. Lin Tian and Leng Yue had just returned, and everyone greeted them happily. Captain Lin Big Brother. Lin Tian asked, is everyone okay? Wu Tin replied, at that time Sister Qi and I were training at my family's villa. We only found out about the anomaly when Chief Lu called us. Tian Fang added excitedly, Big Brother. When the anomaly occurred, I was having barbecue with my younger brother. A bat charged at me, so I punched it dead. Then I just skewered it like a big shish kebab and grilled it. Lin Tian was speechless and just said, just make sure you don't get a stomachache. Chief Lu spoke up, Lin Tian, you're here. We can start the video conference with the military. He started the meeting. Commander Shen, my side is ready. Commander Shen nodded gravely. All members of the Spirit Association are present. Let's begin discussing the plan to rescue Tianhai City. He explained the two eastern and western highways into Tianhai are completely blocked by the bats. The two central squares in the southeast are showing large energy signatures. This could be the main entity controlling the bats. Lin Tian thought about the central square, then noticed Li Qi trembling with a troubled expression. He wondered worriedly, why does Li Qi look so distraught? Commander Shen announced, we will force a breakthrough from the Donghai Highway to open an evacuation route for the civilians in the central square. Then we will use heavy firepower to suppress the target. But we need the Spirit Association to assist by approaching the square from another route to evacuate the civilians first. He glanced at his watch. The plan must be completed within 50 minutes or the creature in the square will evolve to a level we cannot handle. Li Qi asked anxiously, if the army can't reach the square in time, will the bombardment be postponed? Commander Shen stated firmly, at the scheduled time, all firepower will be directed at the target to stop the creature from evolving. Li Qi retorted agitatedly, how can you gamble with the lives of the civilians like that? Commander Shen replied, if that dark monster evolves, not only the square, but all of Tianhai and even the entire Donghai province will be destroyed. Yes. Li Qi felt powerless, but Commander Shen continued in a grave voice. There is someone important to you in that square, isn't there? Li Qi trembled, my family lives near the square. Everyone was stunned. Wu Tin reassured her, Sister Qi, don't worry, I will help you rescue your family. Captain Lin's special training has made me much stronger now. Tian Fang added, that's right, I'll call my little brothers to drive over right now. Commander Shen suggested, Li Qi, you should stand down. A soldier whose judgment is clouded by emotion will affect the mission. Are you telling me that when you reach the square, your parents won't be the first thing on your mind? Li Qi exclaimed agitatedly. Why should I? Commander Shen turned to Chief Lu. To ensure the mission's success, please reconfirm the personnel. Chief Lu was at a loss. Lin Tian spoke up, wait a moment, Commander Shen, your plan has a fatal flaw. He was astonished. What is it? Lin Tian explained, your bombs cannot inflict any damage on that monster. Everyone was stunned. What? Commander Shen asked doubtfully. How do you know? Lin Tian smirked, because not long ago I was the one who severely injured it. He continued, your plan isn't viable, follow mine instead. Commander Shen asked, and what is your plan? Lin Tian requested, bring me the weapon I told you about a few days ago. He created a sphere of lightning and said confidently, I will personally slay that dark monster. How about that? At the entrance of a tunnel, Shen Fei Fei stood ready holding a timer. She led her squad with determination to deliver the weapon to Lin Tian for the people of Tianhai City. Commander Shen gave an order over the comms to all units. Proceed with the subjugation of the anomaly in Tianhai. The route is from the Eastern Highway to the People's Square. He said in a stern voice, the mission is to escort the weapon into the conflict zone. Divide into 5 small teams. Ensure the weapon arrives at the square safely at all costs. Shen Fei Fei led her team charging into the tunnel, shouting for the people. Inside the dark tunnel, bats swarmed chaotically. The soldiers opened fire, but the bats launched a frenzied counterattack. Fei Fei yelled, everyone charge forward. Her eyes filled with the determination to survive. Outside the city, the bats were rampaging everywhere. A powerful aura surged forth as Lin Tian stepped forward coldly. If I'd known it would be this much trouble, I wouldn't have shown mercy back in the forest. Wu Tin and Leng Yue rushed to catch up. A massive swarm of bats descended, blanketing the sky. Wu Tin unleashed her water dragon jutsu. She coordinated with Leng Yue's frigid ice hammer to launch a fierce counterattack, freezing the swarm of bats. Leng Yue was horrified. Damn it, how many more of these things are in Tianhai City? Wu Tin broke into a sweat. I can sense them multiplying by absorbing spiritual energy. Lung Yue added, if that thing blanketing the sky isn't just dark clouds, then I'm afraid the number of bats is incalculable. Wu Tin worried if they all merge into one, how powerful will it be? Lam Tin reassured him, don't worry, it couldn't defeat me in the forest, and it won't out here either. The most important thing is to rendezvous with Tom Phi Phi at the People's Square. Meanwhile, Phi Phi and her squad frantically fled the tunnel, all heavily injured. As the bats flew towards them, a voice rang out, "You are mine." Kwang Vu stared at Phi Phi with a crazed look in his eyes. "We meet again." My beauty Phi Phi was furious. "It's you again," she accused him. "You caused the chaos in Thian Hai. Do you have any idea how many innocent people have died?" He scoffed. "I don't know and I don't care. It's an honor for that scum to become my nourishment, isn't it?" Offended, Phi Phi launched a kick at him, but Kwang Vu easily dodged it by tilting his head. He said contemptuously, "To me, beautiful cultivators with spiritual energy like you are like wine to an alcoholic." He exuded a powerful pressure, declaring, "If you people don't break through, I will devour all of Tian Hai. I have only recovered half of my peak strength, but by devouring you, I will reach my peak." A cold voice suddenly rang out, just like that brat Kwang Vu. "Obediently become my nourishment." A pillar of ice shot towards Kwang Vu, forcing him to dodge quickly. Loi Nak shielded Phi Phi. "The young miss doesn't like you, so I'll have to send you to hell." Kwang Vu smirked. "Brave Spring 4th Realm, no. You've reached the 5th realm." He laughed maniacally. "By devouring you, I will not only recover, but also evolve to become even stronger." Loi Nak turned to Phi Phi, "Lead the others and go find Lam Thin. I'll handle things here." Tom Phi Phi nodded repeatedly. As she turned to leave, she didn't forget to remind Loi Nak to be extremely careful. Seeing this action, Kwang Vu flew into a rage, roaring, "Where do you think you're going?" As he was about to charge, Loi Nak instantly erected a solid ice wall blocking his path. Behind him, Phi Phi and her squad. The soldiers simultaneously turned, opened fire fiercely, and deployed smoke screens to create an escape route. However, the dense swarm of bats like a flood severely hampered their efforts. The bats swarmed in like a tsunami, their numbers increasing endlessly. Phi Phi squeezed her gun's trigger, gritting her teeth as a bitter feeling of helplessness welled up inside her. These bats seemed to have evolved as conventional bullets could no longer cause them any harm. In this life-or-death situation, she clenched her jaw and charged straight ahead. Despite the chaotic thoughts swirling in her head, she wondered, can I really get this thing to safety, even if I make it? Will Lam Tin and his comrades be able to break through to reach Dai Ha? No Phi. Phi tried to banish the negative thoughts, telling herself to remain resolute and not let her faith waver. In the distance, a bat spotted her and immediately swooped down in pursuit. She picked up her pace, but unexpectedly another bat began tailing her closely from behind. The bat stared at Phi Phi with a covetous gaze, but at that exact moment a bolt of lightning struck down. It struck the bat squarely. She then saw Lam Tin standing imposingly before her, radiating a murderous aura. He spoke, "I finally found you." And so it was. A startled Tem Phi Phi ran to Lam Tin's side. Seeing her, he gave a gentle smile and patted her head reassuringly. "It's all right, I'm here now. No need to be afraid anymore. Did you bring the item?" Tam Phi Phi carefully unstrapped the box from her back and said, "This is what my grandfather told me to bring. This is so heavy, what on earth is it?" Lam Tin took the box and asked, "Didn't Commander Tom tell you?" She shook her head and replied, "No, my grandfather just said it's a very powerful weapon. I don't know the specifics." Lam Tin drew the sword from the box, his gaze sweeping over its cold, sharp blade. Phi Phi asked curiously, "Does this have any special destructive power?" Lam Tin smiled and replied, "Of course it does. I'll show you this sword's destructive power right now." With that, he turned and shouted loudly, "Dai Ton 2, get back, Dad is coming to help you." Hearing this, Trin and Gia immediately ordered everyone to spread out. My adoptive father is about to make his move. Lam Tin stepped into the midst of the hovering bats, activated his system panel, and selected a feature. He then unleashed his Thunderflame aura, which swirled intensely around the sword. Then he unleashed the 10-word slash, wiping out the entire swarm of bats in the blink of an eye. Trin and Gia cheered excitedly. "Awesome, my adoptive father is incredible." Phi Phi's eyes sparkled with admiration as she asked Lam Thien, "You're so cool. Can you teach me that move?" He turned back and replied, "I can, but if you want it to be that effective, you'll have to cultivate to the Brave Spring 4th realm or higher." Lam Thien turned to Phi Phi and asked, "Did everyone else die?" She nodded. "Yes. Loi Nak and Kwang Vu are still fighting. Lam Thien, can you go and save them?" He was surprised to hear that. "I can't believe Kwang Vu survived. He was clearly swallowed by that dark monster." The scene shifts to Loi Nak, who leaped up and launched an attack, freezing the swarm of bats again. Seeing this, Kwang Vu laughed. "You're very strong, but your spiritual energy will eventually run out." As soon as he finished speaking, another swarm of bats rushed forward, not to save their kin. They rushed in to drain the spiritual energy from the frozen bats. Loi Nak was horrified, unable to believe they were devouring their own kind. He even noticed a few bats had evolved to the Brave Spring Third Realm. The bats charged forward like a storm. Loi Nak hastily erected a defensive shield, but just a few minutes later the swarm shattered it and rushed him frantically. Loi Nak was attacked and quickly retreated, clutching his bleeding arm and thinking, "This has gotten troublesome." Kwang Vu looked at Loi Nak with a triumphant smile. "You're keeping such a careful distance from me. Am I to understand that you're afraid?" Loi Nak gathered his strength and unleashed his Ice Thorn attack on Kwang Vu. A sharp ice arrow formed and shot straight at him. Seeing the ice arrow approach, Kwang Vu merely curled his lip in a faint smirk. The moment it was about to hit the ice arrow was swallowed by a black aura. A stunned Loi Nak exclaimed, "What?" Kwang Vu laughed gleefully. "I knew you would panic. All this powerful spiritual energy. I won't be shy then." Then Loi Nak realized with shock that Kwang Vu was using his own spiritual energy to strengthen himself. Kwang Vu gathered the spiritual energy into his palm. His ice-cold eyes looked down on Loi Nak. "As thanks for helping me evolve to my peak, I've decided to give you a pleasant end." With that, he launched a sharp arrow at Loi Nak. Powerless, he closed his eyes, thinking, "My apologies, young miss." But suddenly Lam Tien appeared, blocking the attack in front of him. Loi Nak shouted anxiously, "Get out of the way! That's a full-power strike from the Brave Spring Realm. It's unstoppable." Lam Tien coldly waved his hand, deflecting the spiritual energy arrow. It flew off in another direction and exploded violently. Loi Nak was stunned, unable to believe his eyes. Lam Tien turned back and asked, "What was that you said?" Loi Nak anxiously asked, "Is Phi safe?" Lam Tien reassured him, "She's with Lan Nguyet and the team fighting off the pestilent bats right now. Go and join them. I'll find you to discuss our next plan after I've handled this." Loi Nak nodded and hurriedly left. Lam Tien stared at Kwang Vu and said in a cold voice, "So we meet again. This time, before I kill you, can you tell me who or what you are?" He laughed loudly and replied, "What are you talking about, Lam Tien? It's me, Kwang Vu. Don't you recognize me?" Lam Tien frowned, not wanting to argue further. "Kwang Vu, if you won't talk, then so be it." He slowly drew the sword from his back, his voice as cold as ice. "Don't be afraid, it will be over quickly." Kwang Vu crossed his arms and laughed loudly. "Lam Tien, do you still think I'm the same person from the forest?" With that, he raised his hand, creating a ball of dark energy, and shouted, "Let me show you my true peak strength." Lam Tien swung his sword in a powerful arc, slashing right through the dark energy sphere. His attack countered. Kwang Vu's face fell. What Lam Tien's sword strike tore through the sphere, causing the bats hidden inside to scatter. However, they didn't disperse, but instead regrouped in midair. Lam Tien frowned. On the other side, Fifi Vutin and Lan Nguye also noticed something unusual about the bats in the sky. Lan Nguye asked Vutin in confusion, "Can you also feel the energy coming from that dark cloud?" Vutin hesitated and replied, "Yes, these mutated bats seem to have received some kind of order. They are moving toward that dark cloud." At this point, Phi couldn't hide her anxiety. "You can't be serious. How is this possible?" Vutin asked in confusion, "Sister Tom, what's wrong?" Phi's face darkened as she answered gravely, "According to the readings, that thing in the sky could be the legendary super mutant entity that people talk about. 6 Phi continued to explain the anomaly levels. The lowest danger level indicates a minor anomaly with little impact on the environment and people. Usually, cultivators aren't needed. The disturbance level is an anomaly or monster posing a slight threat capable of causing localized panic and is typically handled quickly by low-level cultivators. The 4th level dangerous involves a monster or event with significant destructive power posing a major threat to a town or a large crowd requiring coordinated action from mid-level cultivators. The super mutant level is a more dangerous monster with great destructive power capable of destroying a small city, requiring many mid- and high-level cultivators to team up. The calamity level signifies powerful destructive entities. They threaten an entire metropolis, causing severe casualties and massive damage requiring peak-level cultivators or elite squads. The 1 cataclysm level causes a disaster on a national scale. It annihilates defensive forces, and only a few of the most powerful cultivators can stand against it. A full mobilization is required for combat. The world-ending level is the highest threat endangering global survival. It can destroy human civilization, forcing an alliance of all peak-level cultivators and defense systems. Fighting with all her might, she told herself, Lin Tian, you must live. Fei Fei instructed Leng Yue to quickly contact Director Liu and tell them to send more people I will call grandfather. I cannot let Lin Tian face that monster alone. At the command center, everyone was trying to contact Captain Fan. Please respond, but the signal was cut. Someone exclaimed, damn it, we have completely lost contact with Team 2. The bats seemed to be blocking all the phone signals. Commander Shen sat silently worrying, have Fei Fei and the others escaped yet? On the camera screen, someone shouted, everyone look, the bats are gathering in one direction. The whole room was in an uproar. What is going on? An incoming signal connected, and someone quickly answered Captain Fan. I read you, are you still alive? Fan reported Team 2's signal is back online. Captain Lee after the bats left. The phone signals are working again. The man asked, what is the situation on your side? Reporting now, Fan's voice was grave. We were attacked by a massive swarm of Yongquan Second Realm bats. For some reason, they suddenly flew up and left. The purple-haired man said urgently, Commander Shen Teams 2 and 3 faced a similar situation. He ordered an immediate casualty report. Someone else reported, Commander, we have a signal from the young miss. Commander Shen answered the call, Fei Fei, my child. Fei Fei said anxiously, Grandpa, we're in trouble. A super mutant monster is about to appear in Tianhai City. Everyone in the room's face changed. Commander Shen frowned. Fei Fei, what nonsense are you spouting? Fei Fei explained, her voice tense. Commander Shen, I'm not lying. The bats left the Tianhai area to offer their spiritual energy to be consumed by the super mutant monster in the center of the dark clouds. Someone shouted, we're doomed. If Tianhai falls, so do we. The room descended into chaos as everyone panicked. Is there really nothing we can do? Someone said in despair, a super mutant monster needs at least a Yongquan Fifth Realm cultivator to handle. Yes. Commander Shen hesitated, his voice dropping. Fei Fei, I'm sorry, but I cannot allow the country to be put in danger. I hope you won't be angry with your grandfather. I have no other choice. Fei Fei said sadly, yes, I know, I don't blame you, grandfather. Commander Shen stood and ordered Uncle Mu prepare a devastating attack. Control the super mutant monster in Tianhai at any cost. We absolutely cannot let the disaster spread, Uncle Mu pleaded. Commander, calm down, please. Save the young miss first, Commander Shen said sternly. In here there are only commanders and soldiers. There is no family. Our sacrifice is to protect the people from this kind of suffering. He shouted, all units prepare. Suddenly the signal was interrupted by a confused voice. Hello, can anyone hear me? How do you turn this thing on? Commander Shen was astonished. Lin Tian, you're still alive. Lin Tian chuckled teasingly. Commander Shen, I haven't even hit on your granddaughter yet and you already want me dead. Your granddaughter might just kill you for this, he said seriously. Don't bomb the super mutant monster, let me handle it. The entire command center was shocked. What, you'll handle it? Someone stammered, can you really do that? That's a super mutant, Lin Tian replied confidently. Nonsense. Otherwise, why would I waste my time arguing with you? Commander Shen, if you want Tianhai and your granddaughter to be safe, then support me with everything you've got. A doubtful Uncle Mu said, Commander this. Commander Shen thought for a moment and then asked, what kind of support do you need? Lin Tian replied, I only need one thing. You will compensate for all damages in this battle. The monster revealed its true form, satisfied, savoring the taste. The feeling of being alive is truly wonderful. It looked at Lin Tian smugly. I have not only been revived, but I have also evolved to the peak of the Yongquan Fifth Realm. Now I am invincible. It laughed. You must regret not killing me back in the forest. Right. It launched a bloodthirsty bat to attack, laughing maniacally, ha ha, but its laughter died. At the command center, everyone watched in shock as the bat charged towards Lin Tian, who then unleashed his lightning attribute. A flash of lightning split the bat in two. His eyes were cold as he stared at the monster. Everyone gasped in awe. That's the legendary lightning attribute. It's so terrifying. The one who possesses this power is a monster himself. Commander Shen sighed in relief. Kid, you haven't disappointed me. Outside, the military was mobilized, shouting, stay calm, do not panic, the buses are arriving, please do not push. A bolt of lightning ripped through the sky, startling the crowd, who shouted, look, is someone undergoing a heavenly tribulation. Others exclaimed, I've never seen such powerful lightning. It must be a great master undergoing the 9 heavens lightning tribulation. Yuting spoke up, Sister Leng Yue, that's Captain Lin's power. Leng Yue was silent, her heart filled with despair. Lin Tian's power is too terrifying. I thought I could catch up to him by reaching the Yongquan Fourth Realm, but now I'm nothing but a joke before him. Fei Fei thought to herself, Lin Tian, you live up to being the man I chose. Lin Tian floated in midair, his aura magnificent as thunder and wind raged around him. He raised his sword coldly and said, my turn. The monster counterattacked, but Lin Tian blocked with his sword. He then unleashed the Thunder Flame Sword technique. Ice Mountain. Slash, creating a pillar of energy that rushed at the monster, which formed a shield matrix for protection. But Lin Tian's attack shattered the shield, making the monster scream in pain. It gritted its teeth and roared, "You bastard," then launched vines of dark energy at him. Lin Tian dodged them as easily as if it was a game. The monster roared furiously, its eyes blazing as if wanting to burn everything down. "If it weren't for that sword, you would have died long ago." Seeing Lin Tian's defiant gesture, he pointed straight at his own forehead and sneered, "There's plenty of blood right here." Provoked, the monster roared in fury. It gathered all its strength, forming a massive ball of dark energy. "You're courting death." After shouting, it launched the attack directly at Lin Tian, but the moment that terrifying power touched his forehead, it instantly vanished without a trace. The monster was horrified, sweat pouring down its face, its eyes wide with panic. "No, it can't be. That was my full power attack at the peak of the Yongquan 5th realm. How could you be completely unscathed? Unless you've already reached the Yongquan 6th realm. Or perhaps even a higher realm." Lin Tian shook his head, a cold and disdainful smile on his face. "If this is all the power you have," his body then erupted with brilliant lightning, and his voice turned ice cold, "then you will die right here." The monster panicked, thinking, "I cannot die here. I need to absorb more power to evolve and become stronger." With that thought, it quickly turned to flee. "Just wait until I reach the Yongquan 6th realm, no, the Yongquan 7th realm. Then I will return to take my revenge on this kid." Lin Tian took a wide stance, his gaze sharp this time. "You're not getting away." He channeled his power into his sword, and his Thunder Flame Sword technique erupted with earth-shattering might. The monster turned to see the terrifying attack rushing at it and began to tremble, its soul nearly flying away. Before it could recover, the sword had already pierced straight through its body. Carrying destructive power, the monster endured immense pain and screamed in despair before turning into dust. At the command center, everyone erupted in joyous celebration. "Victory," they cheered. "We did it. We defeated the super mutant monster. Tianhai City has been saved." Everyone excitedly chanted, "This thunder flame is the dawn of Tianhai City." "No, it is the dawn for all of humanity," Commander Shen declared emotionally. Everyone immediately began arranging relief work and ensure that all victims receive prompt treatment. A few days later, Director Liu came to see Lin Tian to express his gratitude. "Lin Tian, thanks to you, we overcame the crisis in Tianhai City. The military and the Spiritual Energy Association have decided to reward you. Is there anything you want?" Lin Tian replied with a serious face. "There is one thing I absolutely need your help with." Director Liu nodded and told him to speak. Lin Tian pointed at the 3 girls and sighed in frustration. "Please ask them to leave because my house is too small. They keep visiting and I can't get any peace, not to mention they're corrupting Yuting." Director Liu was in an awkward spot, knowing he couldn't just tell Leng Yue and Fei Fei to leave. As for Su Yuting, that's her decision. Suddenly, he had an idea to buy Lin Tian a more spacious villa. Thinking this, he gave a confident thumbs up. "Lin Tian, rest assured, leave this tricky matter to me. I guarantee your satisfaction." The next morning, at a strategy meeting, a chairman took the stage and announced, "And now, we move to the main agenda for today's meeting." He pointed to a screen displaying Lin Tian's image. He made a great contribution during the Tianhai crisis. What reward should we bestow upon him? A few commanders spoke up. "I feel we should grant him the resources to become the country's superclass cultivator. Just like the heroes in the West." Another person laughed. "We should also turn him into a celebrity." The person beside him nodded in agreement. "That's right. A heroic figure like him would inspire more young people to become cultivators." However, another commander immediately and strongly disagreed. "A celebrity? Are you people joking? Lin Tian is not only the hero of Tianhai City, but also a cultivation genius of our Xia nation." He raised a finger and proposed sternly we should have Lin Tian join the upper echelons of the military. He should be in charge of training cultivators and other critical missions. Commander Shen listened with some confusion. Were there other matters? Suddenly, a resonant voice called out from outside. "I object." Everyone was stunned when they saw the newcomer, Commander Han. "Why have you come here?" Seeing him, Commander Shen frowned and thought to himself, "Han Xiaofeng, why has he returned? Could it be?" Xiaofeng stepped forward with a frown and said, "Commander, I heard from my subordinates that you went to hand out rewards to a bunch of kids." Commander Shen asked in confusion what he meant by that. Xiaofeng answered bluntly, "My meaning is that a kid who relied on luck to defeat a monster is not qualified to receive a medal." Someone unable to remain calm stood up and retorted, "Commander Han, what you've said is going too far. Lin Tian didn't resolve the crisis in Tianhai City by relying on luck. Another person agreed that's right. This entire mission was recorded. Huifeng glared and warned, "Is this a place for two wastes like you to speak?" Commander Shen tapped lightly on the table and spoke slowly. "Commander Han, a fifth realm surging spring monster cannot be dealt with just by relying on luck." He said decisively, "I understand your doubts about Lin Tian, but his mettle is not for you to decide." Huifeng returned to his seat in frustration. "If you insist on giving him the medal, then there's nothing I can do. In any case, I won't acknowledge it." Commander Shen paid no mind and continued the meeting. "Does anyone have any ideas?" One person spoke up. "Lin Tian didn't help us for fame or fortune. What he wants isn't a position or influence," Commander Shen asked doubtfully. "Old Lu, do you have any ideas?" Liu Ying smiled faintly. "Everyone's relationship with Lin Tian is the problem at this crucial moment. Only I understand what he needs most." He said confidently, "A few days ago I met Lin Tian and asked him directly what he needed, and I received a clear answer." Everyone was excited and curious. "Oh, Old Lu, stop beating around the bush and tell us already." He raised a finger and recounted Lin Tian's exact words about how Leng Yue and Fei Fei come to his house every day. It invades his privacy, making it impossible for him to live normally, and it's also negatively influencing Yu Qing. He explained, therefore, Lin Tian wants a bigger house, to live with Leng Yue and the others without feeling cramped. A few people exclaimed in astonishment after hearing this. So that's what it was. "Why didn't we think of that?" Another person agreed, "That's right. Basic needs like food and shelter were overlooked." Only Commander Shen understood that Lin Tian actually wanted Leng Yue and the girls to leave. But thinking of his granddaughter Fei Fei, who also has feelings for him, he could only sigh. If it's a mistake, might as well see it through. He spoke up, "If that's the case, everyone see if there are any suitable large houses or apartments in Tianhai." An Huifeng chuckled lightly. "Stop looking. I know a very suitable villa." A commander sitting next to him asked doubtfully, "Wasn't Commander Han just opposing it a moment ago?" Why the sudden change of heart? Commander Shen was surprised. "Where is the villa?" Huifeng replied, his smile gradually turning cold. 6 Lakes Manor on Chiang Road in the City on the Sea. Hearing this, a few people started murmuring, "Isn't the City on the Sea already under lockdown? The anomaly there has already reached the 6th realm of Surging Spring." Liu Ying frowned and questioned Commander Han. "My Spiritual Qi Cultivation Association has never offended you. Why are you making things difficult for Lin Tian? The purpose of today's meeting is to reward him, not to assign a new mission." Huifeng calmly replied, "I just believe that if he can't clean up that manor, then he doesn't deserve a hero's reward." Commander Shen said with displeasure. "Commander Han, are you questioning my decision?" Huifeng calmly replied, "I wouldn't dare. I just want to see for myself if the hero you all speak of truly lives up to his reputation." After the meeting ended, Liu Ying went to see Lin Tian, handed him a contract, and sighed, "I'm sorry. You went through a life-and-death experience this time. The military originally wanted to give you a worthy reward, but someone caused trouble midway." Lin Tian opened the contract and saw it was a deed for a house in his name. His jaw dropped. "This house must be worth at least tens of millions. You're just giving it to me like that." Seeing his expression change, Liu Ying panicked. "If you don't like it, I'll risk everything to get you a different one." Lin Tian clutched the contract and shouted, "Damn it. A house worth tens of millions, and you think this is a matter of whether I like it or not. It's a matter of whether I deserve it." He then agreed to take this house. Liu Ying carefully reminded him half a month ago a 6th realm surging spring mutated creature appeared in the City on the Sea. The epicenter of its power is right in this villa. The military has prepared a squad to support you to ensure success. Lin Tian waved his hand. "No need for such trouble. I can go by myself." Liu Ying said worriedly, "Lin Tian, I know you just defeated a 5th realm surging spring monster, but the mutated creature in the City on the Sea is a 6th realm surging spring. Don't be reckless. Even though it's only 1 realm apart, the difference is like heaven and earth. You absolutely cannot underestimate it." He advised, "You're still young, just cultivate patiently and in the future." Before he could finish, Lin Tian interrupted. "I know." He revealed, "I am now at the 7th realm of Surging Spring," causing Liu Ying to be stunned and exclaim what the meeting had just ended, and Han Huifeng was returning in his car when 2nd Lieutenant Li asked curiously, "Boss, what's this kid's background that he wants us to cooperate with him? Our brothers in the barracks have been attacking 6 Lakes Manor for half a month with no progress. Can a kid who just came of age like him really do it?" Huifeng sneered, his voice full of contempt, "Whether he can do it or not. We'll see when he performs in a bit. I hope it wasn't just some dumb luck otherwise. The thing in 6 Lakes Manor won't let him come back alive." 2nd Lieutenant Li laughed. "The boss is right. The anomaly in Tianhai City was definitely just that kid getting lucky. Otherwise, why else would he not dare to come to the army's commendation ceremony? He must have a guilty conscience. He laughed out loud, these hot-headed young punks. They need elders like us to encourage them often. As Huifeng was talking, the female secretary behind him looked up and said, Commander Han, please don't let personal feelings cause a failure. The army's mission to reclaim the city on the sea is the top priority. Huifeng snapped irritably, I don't need you to teach me how to do my job. A while later, the car stopped in front of a large villa where Lin Tian was already waiting. Secretary Chen got out, walked over, and shook his hand. Hello, Lin Tian. I am Secretary Chen for the mayor of the city on the sea. He replied cheerfully, Hello. Secretary Chen introduced the two people behind me, our Commander Han and Second Lieutenant Li, responsible for dealing with the mutated creature in the city on the sea. Huifeng looked at Lin Tian and spoke. So you're the one who dealt with the Fifth Realm Surging Spring monster in Tianhai City? Lin Tian nodded. Yeah, what about it? Huifeng gave a faint, sarcastic laugh. Nothing. I thought you'd be like the brothers in my barracks, but it turns out you're just a pretty boy. Lin Tian scoffed. So what? Just because you guys are big and brawny, does that mean the monsters will go easy on you? The two men cleared their throats in annoyance. Huifeng threatened Lin Tian, if a sharp tongue is all you have, I'm afraid you'll have a hard time leaving this manor alive. Lin Tian retorted, Don't worry, I'm a very practical person. If I can take action, I absolutely won't waste time talking. If you two are afraid of dying, you don't have to come in. Secretary Chen intervened all right. Even if you don't get along, I hope you can all agree on one thing. Inside Six Lakes Manor, you must support each other. Is there a problem with that? She frowned and said in a serious tone, If no one speaks up, I'll take it as a tacit agreement. Next, I will brief you on the mission, she explained after the Earth's spiritual energy recovered. A powerful, dark spiritual energy appeared in Six Lakes Manor, which was then occupied by an unknown creature. According to our detectors, the mutated creature in the manor is at least at the fifth realm of Surging Spring. After it caused 68 casualties, we managed to contain the monster inside. Secretary Chen assigned the mission telling everyone to be careful. Lin Tian turned around and said, If you're done talking, let's go. Second Lieutenant Li was astonished. He's charging in without discussing a battle plan, Huifeng urged. Follow him. Don't let that brat get away. The three of them entered the villa. Lin Tian opened his system and thought to himself, another dark monster. I've encountered them 3 times in just a few days. After the last mission, he was rewarded with a new attribute column. Lin Tian hesitated between choosing dark or light. In his previous life, he didn't have the strength he has now, so he didn't understand these two attributes well. Remembering Leng Yue's narrow escape from death, he decided to choose light, hoping to gain healing abilities. Seeing him standing still, Second Lieutenant Li impatiently shouted, You charged in recklessly without a plan. Have you thought of something now? Lin Tian shook his head no, but just imagining things out here. To make a plan is meaningless. Second Lieutenant Li got angry. Are you reliable at all? Huifeng shouted a warning, watch out. A ferocious beast charged forward. Huifeng rushed up and sent the monster flying with a strike. He asked Second Lieutenant Li, Are you okay? He replied, Thanks, boss. His face turned pale. He thought to himself, A creature outside the manor is already stronger than me. So what about the ones inside? Huifeng shouted, Be careful, this mutated dog has reached the 4th realm of Surging Spring. He rushed forward and fought fiercely with the beast. Second Lieutenant Li said excitedly, as expected of the boss, he's fighting on par with it. Huifeng kicked the dog in the face, sending it flying with blood pouring from its mouth. He was panting and drenched in sweat. Lin Tian asked with a bored tone, Commander Han, have you had enough fun yet? Can we go inside now? Second Lieutenant Li yelled, What do you know? This beast has reached the 4th realm of Surging Spring. Lin Tian drew his sword, and with a few flourishes, a single slash tore the dog apart, causing it to writhe in agony. Huifeng's eyes widened in horror. Lin Tian said coldly, I'm going in first. You two can take your time playing out here. Huifeng was horrified. He cut it in 2 with just 1 strike. Second Lieutenant Li's face went pale as he stammered. Boss, did we mess with the wrong person? Huifeng said anxiously, Hurry and apologize to Lin Tian. We can't afford to offend this person. Lam Tien entered this villa. The space was unusually quiet, he observed, and wondered 68 people were dead, yet not a single body could be seen. When Huifeng and Second Lieutenant Lai entered, he asked Commander Han, Did you have your men move the bodies? Huifeng shook his head. The army has only secured the perimeter. They have not gone this deep inside. Lam Tien's face turned pale if that's the case. The creature in this villa probably far surpasses the valiant Spring 5th level Huifeng suspected the bodies were eaten by the monster, but Lam Tien retorted mutated monsters only devour spiritual energy, not corpses. He instructed them to be careful and split up to search. Hyopong nodded. Lam Tien, we will listen to you. Lam Tien went upstairs, saying, I will check up here. The two men went down to the basement. Lam Tien walked up the stairs, stood in the middle of the dark hallway, and gently pushed open a door. Checking the rooms, he wondered even if the monster devoured them, it should at least leave bones behind, right? He unleashed his light attribute. His body flared up, emitting a brilliant golden aura, revealing the streams of dark energy around him. He smiled. Found you. Down in the basement, Second Lieutenant Lai was tense. Boss, this place is strange. Hyopong was on high alert, ready to fight. A black shadow flashed past, startling them both as they jumped back into a defensive stance. In front of them was a monster with a skull head and a beast's body drooling as it stared intently. Hyopong shouted, Second Lieutenant Lai charged. The monster roared and attacked. Hyopong counterattacked, using up a lot of his strength. Second Lieutenant Lai unleashed gale fists, striking hard, but the monster's hide was too thick, leaving him stunned. The monster reared up and charged at Second Lieutenant Li. Hyopong shouted, Don't you dare harm my brother! But it whipped its tail, sending him flying into a pile of rubble. Hyopong groaned in pain. Second Lieutenant Lai panicked. Boss, he charged forward furiously. I will put my life on the line against this beast. Hyopong yelled, Lay don't. Just then, a wave of power descended and struck down the monster. Lam Tien coldly said, What are you two playing at? You can't even kill a small fry like this. Hyopong's eyes widened. Lam Tien, you killed the monster from Six Lakes Villa in just one blow. What is your true strength? Lam Tien replied, What are you talking about? We have not even seen the main monster yet. Hyopong froze, but this is the Six Lakes monster. Lam Tien sighed. It is just a dark incarnation, he explained. Let me show you two directly so you will understand. He unleashed his light attribute, his eyes glowing brightly. I will show you two the real world. The brilliant light made the two men squint. Before their eyes. A horrifying scene appeared. Monsters slaughtering, tearing apart, and devouring human bodies. Hyopong was stunned. These monsters. Second Lieutenant Lai was terrified. Why are there so many? Lam Tien calmly said, What is so surprising? Six Lakes Villa is the monster's main base. Having a few of them is normal. Hyopong said worriedly, Let's retreat first. I will call the army to bombard this place. Second Lieutenant Li agreed, but Lam Tien yelled, Damn it, this villa is my reward if you blow it up. Where will I live? I can take care of these small fries in a minute. Lam Tien drew his sword and unleashed Thunder Flame First Blade. The sword energy erupted, wiping out all the monsters in the blink of an eye. Hyopong and Second Lieutenant Li turned pale in disbelief. A single sword strike annihilated the entire horde. Hyopong stammered, Big Brother Lam Tien, you are too powerful. The Six Lakes problem is solved then. Second Lieutenant Lai added, I thought we were going to die. I never expected you to handle it all with one slash. Lam Tien replied, No, the main monster has not been dealt with. These were just cannon fodder. Hyopong was stunned. Cannon fodder. He thought to himself, If you call such strong monsters cannon fodder, then what are we, trash? His eyes widened and his voice cracked. Big Brother Lam Tien, you must be joking. Last month, the military department detected the strongest signal was only at the Valiant Spring 5th level. Lam Tien smiled. Then it is even clearer in just 1 month that monster has evolved and grown stronger. Second Lieutenant Lai asked worriedly, What are our chances of winning? Lam Tien said firmly, You two stay behind me and do not run around. I will handle everything. They both nodded yes. Lam Tien took the lead, swinging his sword casually. Monsters fell one by one. None could withstand a single blow. Hyopong and Second Lieutenant Li hid behind a door, their eyes wide, so this is the power of a cultivator. Second Lieutenant Lai was sweating profusely to kill them this quickly. We are like experienced piñatas getting beaten up in less than 10 minutes. The monsters on the first floor were wiped out by Lam Tien. He sensed an aura coming from the courtyard and rushed out, shouting, I'm going to the courtyard to check. You two be careful. The two men followed outside. An eerie red aura enveloped the courtyard. Lam Tien's face paled as he exclaimed that in front of him was a giant cocoon vibrating and emitting a horrifying sound. He channeled his spiritual energy and thought to himself, This is the leader of Six Lakes. Second Lieutenant Lai was astonished. Brother Lam Tien. Hyopong stopped him. Shh, do not speak. Big Brother Lam Tien is gathering his power. Second Lieutenant Li was confused. What is he gathering power for? Is that the final monster? Hyopong continued the aura on Lam Tien. I have only ever felt it from one other person. Lam Tien was startled and asked again, his gaze sharp. Hyopong nodded slightly, his voice grave. That is right, the chairman of the Spiritual Energy Cultivators Association of Hai Thuong City, the 6th-level Valiant Spring Realm expert, Mr. Vuong. His gaze rested on Lam Tien at that moment. He sensed a kingly aura emanating from him like that of an undefeated war god in a decisive battle. Suddenly, a monstrous hand emerged from the giant cocoon. Realizing the time was right, Lam Tien immediately unleashed Thunderflame First Blade, swinging his sword and slashing fiercely, tearing the cocoon apart from within a brilliant fire. Phoenix flew out, roaring furiously. Carrying an aura of destruction, the two who witnessed the scene screamed in horror. "We are done for. What do we do now? How can there be a monster this powerful?" Lam Tien, on the contrary, grinned with excitement. "I have finally found one with a bit of real strength." The fire phoenix charged madly, its momentum threatening to devour everything. Lam Tien agilely leaped to dodge its movements. As fast as lightning, the monster opened its mouth and spat out a torrent of spiritual energy. As powerful as a tsunami, Lam Tien laughed, "Bring it on." He immediately unleashed Radiant Cyclone, charging straight towards the fire phoenix with unstoppable momentum. The two onlookers clapped excitedly. "Big brother Lam Tien is so cool." Seeing the fire phoenix about to flee, Lam Tien immediately gave chase with his sword, his eyes cold as he shouted loudly, "Did I say you could leave?" He shot forward in front of it and unleashed Thunderflame Ice Mountain Blade. The sword energy exploded like a collapsing ice mountain. The fire phoenix was hit and shrieked in pain, staggering in midair. Then it lost its balance and fell to the ground. Not stopping, Lam Tien continued to unleash Thunderflame 10 Death's Blade. The powerful moves relentlessly suppressed the phoenix, knocking it down with no strength left to resist. It could only scream in agony. Second Lieutenant Lai was stunned. "My God, this is just too powerful." Han Huifeng shouted excitedly, "Did you see that? That is my big brother Lam Tien. He is just that cool." Lam Tien walked over his aura like that of a hero radiating a brilliant halo. He turned and asked, "So this building belongs to me now?" The phoenix was still writhing in pain. Lam Tien coldly raised his sword, preparing to finish it off, but just at that moment, a sudden wave of power came from nowhere and knocked the monster far away. It let out a pathetic scream. Huifeng exclaimed in awe, "Wow, that was amazing." Big brother Lam Tien shook his head, his voice as cold as ice. "That was not my move. There is someone else here hearing this?" The two were stunned. What Lam Tien's voice sharpened, "Come on out. I can already feel the flow of your spiritual energy." In midair, a spatial rift appeared and a person stepped out, speaking, "If you have already defeated it, why not spare its life?" Upon seeing this person, Huifeng exclaimed in surprise, "Mr. Vuong, why are you here?" Lam Tien turned and asked, "Do you know him?" Huifeng introduced, "This is Mr. Vuong, chairman of the Spiritual Energy Cultivators Association of Hai Thuong City. He is also a 6th-level Valiant Spring Realm expert." Huifeng pointed towards Lam Tien. Introducing to Mr. Vuong, "This person is a cultivation genius from Tianhai City, invited by the military to resolve the trouble at Six Lakes Villa." Yes, hearing this, Mr. Vuong pleaded with a sincere voice, "If that is the case, then please spare this monster's life. I want to see if I can study anything from it." Huifeng happily agreed. "Of course, Mr. Vuong, but Lam Tien cut him off decisively. "No, you have no right to decide this monster's fate, and you certainly have no right to give me orders." Huifeng was flustered by his reaction. Lam Tien continued, "Mr. Vuong is not just the chairman of the Cultivators Association. The operation to reclaim Hai Thuong City basically relies on his support." Second Lieutenant Li added, "That is right. Mr. Vuong is very kind. He has used his light attribute spiritual energy to save many soldiers in our military district. He is a very good person." Mr. Vuong spoke slowly with a gentle gaze. "Young man, although this monster has committed serious crimes, but if we can use love to reform it and turn it into a friend of humanity, would that not be better than killing it?" As he spoke, he reached out a hand to heal the phoenix. He continued, "All things in this world have a spirit. They must all be reformed with love." But the phoenix's eyes were filled with fear. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning tore through the sky and struck down. The flash of lightning grazed Mr. Vuong, startling him and making him quickly withdraw his hand. Lam Tien swung his sword. A sharp blade of energy shot straight towards Mr. Vuong. Upon seeing this, Mr. Vuong immediately summoned a spiritual energy shield in front of him. The two powers collided and the aura exploded violently. He clenched his fist and shattered Lam Tien's attack. He silently marveled. This kid's energy is truly powerful. He then questioned him, "Kid, what is the meaning of this? Do you want to become my enemy or an enemy of all humanity?" Lam Tien's eyes were filled with killing intent as he replied, "Do you want to know the reason why?" "All right, then I'll tell you," he explained coldly. "First, this monster has killed many people in the villa. It must pay the price for that. Second, I never need anyone to tell me what to do, especially since you're not qualified to give me orders. And third, the most important thing," Lin Tian pointed his sword at Mr. Wang. "First, ever since you appeared, this monster's spiritual energy has become extremely unusual." Xiao Feng asked confusedly, "Big brother Lin Tian, what do you mean by unusual spiritual energy?" Lin Tian continued, This monster is afraid of him. It's more afraid of Mr. Wang, who wants to save it, than of me, the one who wants to kill it. Mr. Wang burst out laughing and retorted, "Kid, in its eyes, you and I are both humans. Besides, I used a cage of light to seal its movements, so it's natural for it to fear me." Lin Tian sneered. "If that's the case, then let me use my special ability to see the memories inside this monster's brain." Upon hearing this, Mr. Wang's eyes flickered with panic. Second Lieutenant Li was surprised. "Brother Lin Tian, you have this ability too." He explained, "I obtained this ability after the monster subjugation in Tianhai City. I can read the memories in a monster's mind through direct contact with my spiritual energy." Lin Tian quietly walked past Mr. Wang, who seemed worried for a moment but forced himself to stay calm. "This kid is definitely bluffing." Lin Tian approached the phoenix and channeled his spiritual energy into its body. The monster immediately let out a violent shriek, and everyone around watched in suspense. As they watched with anticipation in the faint light of the spiritual energy, the phoenix's recent memories began to appear. Everyone's expression changed. Lin Tian said, "It seems I need to go back further." He continued to channel his spiritual energy, and Mr. Wang's face darkened. Suddenly, he burst out laughing and launched a surprise attack on Lin Tian, who smiled triumphantly and thought to himself, "You took the bait." As the attack came, he immediately countered. The two forces collided violently. Xiao Feng and Second Lieutenant Li were bewildered. "Mr. Wang, what are you doing?" He revealed his true colors. "Since you've all found me out, then I have no choice but to send you to your deaths." Lin Tian questioned. "Mr. Wang, you were the one raising this giant bird monster in this villa, weren't you?" Xiao Feng argued back. "Big brother Lin Tian, what nonsense are you saying?" Second Lieutenant Li agreed. "That's right, brother Lin Tian. Mr. Wang once led our military brothers to hunt this monster down." Lin Tian frowned. "Then why is it still alive for me to find?" Xiao Feng hesitated. Maybe the previous hunt didn't go in this deep." Lin Tian smiled faintly and asked, "Do you even believe your own words?" He looked at Mr. Wang. "Ever since you appeared, this monster has been trembling. It seems you've done many things to it that only a beast would do." Wang Tankai curled his lip into a threatening smirk. "You're very clever, but clever people tend not to live long." Xiao Feng was stunned. "What? So what Big Brother Lin Tian said was true?" Wang Tankai admitted, "I did raise this monster using the spiritual energy in the villa, but not to harm people, but to protect humanity." Xiao Feng roared in anger. "Wang Tankai, you bastard! Do you have any idea how many of our brothers we lost to reclaim Haishang?" Tankai's expression turned cold. Their deaths were extremely meaningful. Their deaths helped this monster evolve from the 3rd-level Gushing Spring realm to the peak of the 6th-level Gushing Spring realm. Second Lieutenant Li was now trembling with rage. "You use the lives of soldiers as an experiment," Tankai sneered. "You people from the lower class will never understand the thoughts of someone from a higher class like me," he said smugly. "I raised this monster, not just to use it to eliminate other monsters and reduce casualties among our soldiers, but also to study its evolution, to find a way to help human cultivators better adapt to the world of resurgent spiritual energy. This revival." After speaking, he laughed loudly. "Now this monster is completely under my control," he continued. "I've said all that needs to be said. Now it's time to send you on your way." As he finished speaking, Tankai unleashed a powerful wave of spiritual energy, its fierce aura crashing down like a tempest. The system announced, "Powerful light attribute energy detected. Do you wish to absorb it?" Lin Tian was overjoyed. "Of course I want to absorb it." The system immediately complied, and as the energy descended, his body began to absorb it. Xiao Feng and Second Lieutenant Li, worried for his safety, rushed forward, but Tankai, with a cold face, waved his hand, creating 2 control arrays to restrain them. He smirked sinisterly. "Next, let me savor the sounds of your painful screams." He unleashed sharp sword chi, making the 2 of them writhe in agony. Tankai laughed with glee. "This is the price for daring to offend a Wang." Meanwhile, Lin Tian's aura flared powerfully. The system announced, "Lightning and fire attributes reached level 2. Light attribute reached level 1. In just a few seconds, light jumped to level 2. Lin Tian was ecstatic. This trip was totally worth it. Not only did I get a villa, but my power also skyrocketed. His body shone brilliantly as his lightning and light auras merged, and he dashed behind Tankai, swinging his sword to block his sword chi. Freeing Xiao Feng and Second Lieutenant Li, Xiao Feng fell to his knees, exclaiming, "Big brother Lin Tian, thank you for saving us." Lin Tian urged, "What are you waiting for? Let's finish this quickly." Tankai's expression changed in shock. "How are you able to move freely? Weren't you already imprisoned by my light shield?" Lin Tian sneered. "Did you really think a piece of trash at the 6th-level Gushing Spring realm could imprison me?" He raised his sword. "As thanks for helping me become stronger, I'll grant you a quick death." Tan Kai gathered his spiritual energy and yelled, "You a snot-nosed brat, dare to judge me, let's see what you've got." His spiritual power surged forward as Lin Tian unleashed his thunderflame dragon-slaying slash. Lightning formed a majestic and shockingly powerful dragon that blocked Tan Kai's attack. He was stunned as Lin Tian suddenly appeared behind him. Tan Kai was terrified. How can he be this fast? He thought to himself, I'm finished, I can't dodge this. Lin Tian swung his sword and landed lightly, he said coldly. So this is all the peak 6th level gushing spring realm amounts to. Tan Kai clutched his bleeding arm and gnashed his teeth. Lin Tian, you're seeking death, he roared. Lin Tian, you have thoroughly enraged me now. Tan Kai unleashed the full power of the peak 6th level gushing spring realm, creating a giant array seal in midair. Lin Tian snorted coldly. Even at full power, you're just struggling a little more. Tan Kai unleashed 10,000 arrows, pierced the heart. A volley of arrows shot from the array. He empowered himself, leaped into the air and screamed, "Go die." Lin Tian deployed the bright light sword formation, creating a massive halberd. His eyes blazed with killing intent as he brought it down in a single slash that shook the earth. Lin Tian laughed way too slow. While Tan Kai was stunned, Lin Tian appeared behind him and landed another blow. Tan Kai was thrown back like a punching bag. He struggled up with blood dripping from his mouth and roared in fury, "Lin Tian, even in death I will not lose to you." He unleashed his full power. Glowing runes appeared, and a pair of light wings sprouted from his back. Tan Kai soared into the air, shouting, "Let me show you my ultimate attack." He then unleashed the bright light impact field. Lin Tian was thrilled. Now, this is a fight. Let's see which is harder, your fist or my sword. He raised his sword and unleashed the Thunderflame sword technique, extreme ice mountain shattering, earth-splitting slash. His eyes glowed as his immense pressure radiated everywhere. The two clashed like moths drawn to a flame, neither one backing down, but Tan Kai was overpowered and sent flying, screaming, "No, it can't be." A massive explosion thundered through the sky. Tan Kai lay motionless, riddled with wounds, and stammered, "Your power. How can it be stronger than mine? Your strength is beyond the peak of the 6th level gushing spring realm." Lin Tian replied nonchalantly, "What's so difficult about the peak of the 6th level?" Tan Kai trembled, thinking to himself, could he be at the 7th level gushing spring realm? That's impossible. Spiritual energy has only just been restored. How could he have achieved it? Lin Tian said coldly, "Are you done?" "I have other things to do. It's time to see you off." Tan Kai was terrified with tears in his eyes, screaming in his mind, "I can't die here." Lin Tian tightened his grip on his sword and said coldly, "Pay for your actions." With a single slash, he sent Tan Kai to the afterlife and sneered, "Trash will always be trash." Second Lieutenant Li was stunned. Oh my God. Lin Tian defeated a peak 6th level gushing spring realm master in a single blow, Xiao Feng thought to himself. As expected of big brother Lin Tian sheathed his sword and said, "Let's go check on that big bird." The three of them approached the faintly breathing fire phoenix. Xiao Feng suggested big brother Lin Tian, "Let's kill this evil monster and leave." Lin Tian said with pity, "It's not evil, it's just another victim." He used his spiritual energy to heal it, but the phoenix roared angrily in resistance. Xiao Feng and Second Lieutenant Li yelled, "Big brother Lin Tian, be careful." Lin Tian reassured it, "I'm not Wang Tan Kai. I'm not going to hurt you, I just want to help you get it." Its frenzied gaze softened, and it bowed its head in acceptance. But as its wounds healed, the phoenix shrank down and transformed into an owl. Shocking the other two men, it turned into an owl. The owl flew onto Lin Tian's shoulder. Second Lieutenant Li asked bewilderedly what just happened. Lin Tian was also surprised. "I have no idea. I only used my light attribute spiritual energy to heal it. I never expected it to become this." Second Lieutenant Li asked curiously, "Big brother Lin Tian, did you see its past?" "Show us what the owl went through." Lin Tian laughed. That was just a bluff to lure Wang Tan Kai into the trap. The two were doubtful. "But what about those images from before?" Lin Tian explained. "That was just my light attribute spiritual energy projecting my own memories. Luckily, he fell for it. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done." "All right," he said, "now that this is settled, let's go back. I also need to figure out how much it will cost to repair this villa." Second Lieutenant Li said flustered, "Wait, big brother Lin Tian, are you going to keep that owl as a pet?" Lin Tian said seriously, "I wasn't planning on raising a pet beast, but since it's so obedient, it could be a good house guard." He then asked, "Or should I let the military raise it?" Xiao Feng shook his head. "No way, the military's budget is tight. This is the spirit beast I worked so hard to save. It'll be more comfortable with me." Lin Tian asked, "Do you really need to be this worried?" "I'm just discussing it." Xiang Feng panicked. "Big brother, please don't joke. How would I dare to snatch your spirit beast?" Lin Tian said, "I'm taking it back for everyone to see. If anyone objects, I'll send it to the military." Elsewhere, a stack of documents about Wang Xinkai was thrown in Li Yang's face as Commander Shen roared, "Damn it, what kind of job is your Spirit Chi Association doing?" The Haishan cultivator not only raised monsters, but also used our soldiers as test subjects. Li Yang stammered, "Commander-in-Chief Shen, this is a misunderstanding. I knew nothing about Wang Xinkai's actions. He's a peak 6th-level Spring Fountain Realm expert. I didn't dare to offend him." Commander Shen frowned. "So you don't dare to offend him, but you dare to offend the military," Li Yang frantically replied. "I wouldn't dare. I'm just an ordinary person. The association's affairs are handled by cultivators. I'm powerless." The commander interrogated, "Powerless? If I hadn't pressured you, were you planning to just shirk your responsibility?" Li Yang looked miserable. "Wang Xinkai is a 6th-level Spring Fountain cultivator. How could I dare provoke him?" With tears welling in his eyes, he said, "I can't afford to offend either the association or the military." "Commander-in-Chief, please forgive me," Commander Shen said coldly. "Forgive you? Do you have any idea how horribly those soldiers died? Their families are crying their eyes out, just begging for a chance to survive." Li Yang lowered his head in silence. The commander warned, "Starting today, the military will investigate the entire association. You will cooperate. Otherwise, don't blame me for enforcing the law." Li Yang broke out in a cold sweat. "Understood, I will cooperate. Just please don't ruin the association's reputation or the cultivators will tear me to shreds." Commander Shen said coldly, "All right, now get out of here. And tell those cultivators of yours to be honest, you hear me?" Li Yang stammered with his head down. "Yes, yes. Ah, yes." The scene shifts to Lin Tian's house. Just as he got home, he saw Leng Yue and Fei Fei already waiting. Lin Tian felt a mix of emotions, thinking to himself, "Is this what having a family feels like? It's so warm." He scratched his head shyly. "To protect this, I have to become stronger." Fei Fei tilted her head. "Why are you spacing out?" Lin Tian laughed. "Everything has been resolved. I also brought back the pet beast." Leng Yue was surprised, her eyes shining with curiosity. Lin Tian smiled and gave a short whistle, and a small owl flew down to perch on his head. Both girls were instantly captivated, their eyes sparkling. "Oh, it's so cute." Fei Fei was delighted. "It's so cute, they both started petting it." Fei Fei asked, "Where did you buy it?" Lin Tian replied, "I found it in the mutated villa district." Leng Yue was shocked it managed to survive there. Its will to survive must be incredibly strong. Lin Tian took a sip of water and nodded. Very strong. After all, it's a peak 6th-level Spring Fountain mutated beast. The two girls froze simultaneously. Lin Tian, "What did you just say?" He calmly repeated, "It's a peak 6th-level Spring Fountain mutated beast." The little owl shook its head as if enjoying the gossip. Fei Fei, horrified, pushed it away. "Honey, is it really a 6th-level Spring Fountain beast? It's not going to peck me to death, is it?" Leng Yue dodged it as if it were a demon. "Fei Fei, don't touch it. A single one of its claws could rip us to shreds." Lin Tian was at a loss for words. "Don't overreact. It's very tame. If it wanted to attack, it would have already." He put down his Coke can and said seriously, "You two should focus on your cultivation. When will you ever break through?" Both girls looked glum. "We want to, but it's not that easy to increase our strength." Then Fei Fei sighed. "Not everyone is a genius like you, you know." Lin Tian stretched and said, "Just keep practicing. If a crisis like the last one happens again, I might not be there in time to save you." The scene changes to 3 men drinking and chatting. One of them asked, "Have you guys heard the news? The strongest cultivator in Haishang has been killed. The purple-haired man, He Yi said, he caused the deaths of so many of our brothers. Serves him right." The other man's eyes widened. "But he was a peak 6th-level Spring Fountain expert. How did he die?" He Yi guessed. "Maybe a 7th-level Spring Fountain mutated beast." The blonde man, Tan, scoffed, "Nonsense. If there was a 7th-level mutated beast around, how would any of us still be alive?" He scratched his head. "Then how did he die?" The blonde man lowered his voice. "I heard he was killed by a cultivator from Tianhai, the same one who resolved the Great Tianhai Crisis." The other two got excited. "What is that Tianhai cultivator really that powerful?" Zhang Feng walked by and asked, "What are you guys whispering about?" The blonde man explained, "Boss, we were just changing shifts and grabbing a drink, just chatting." Zhang Feng warned them, "Chatting is fine. But do not leak any information to the Tianhai cultivator. Otherwise, it will be considered a breach of military secrecy." All 3 replied in unison, "Yes, sir." He ordered them to disperse. Zhang Feng thought of Lin Tian, shuddered, and muttered to himself, "You guys have no idea just how powerful Lin Tian is. I dare say he could even influence the international standing of the Hua nation." Meanwhile, Fei Fei was browsing online and saw that the news about Lin Tian wiping out the monsters to help the military reclaim Tianhai was trending. She smiled smugly. He's famous now. Netizens were in a heated debate. Some praised him as a national hero, while others accused him of bragging. Some even threatened to sue, claiming it was all fake. Then a self-proclaimed cultivator from Zhihong posted, "Let me introduce myself. I am a 7th-level spring fountain cultivator from Zhihong City. I suppose in everyone's eyes he's considered quite the expert, isn't he? Frankly, I'm not here to question whether Lin Tian was exaggerating or not. In just 2 days, the country will hold a competition to find the most skilled cultivators. I will personally participate to see what Lin Tian is truly capable of." The comment section erupted. One person sneered, quite confident for a 7th-level spring fountain expert. "If Lin Tian loses, won't his lies be exposed?" Another person commented excitedly, "This is getting interesting. The martial arts tournament is about to begin. We'll soon see if Lin Tian is legit." Fan Qiang replied, "You doubt him. Just wait for big brother Lin Tian to take action. If you don't believe it, come and see for yourself." Fei Fei was indignant. How can that cultivator from Zhihong be so rude? Leng Yue was confused. "What happened, Fei Fei? What are you muttering about?" Fei Fei replied. "Some netizen from Zhihong named Maiding, who claims to be a 7th-level spring fountain expert, is threatening to challenge Lin Tian at a martial arts tournament." Leng Yue's grandfather, surprised, asked, "What's this martial arts tournament? How come I've never heard of it?" Fei Fei explained, "I just found out myself. Grandfather said the military is organizing a nationwide competition for cultivators to promote cultivation and protect national security." She then turned to Lin Tian. "You have to become the champion and shut them all up." Lin Tian was busy feeding the owl, annoyed. "Hurry up and eat. This is the most expensive bird feed, 1 yuan per catty." The little owl glanced at the food and then turned its head away. Lin Tian's blood boiled. "Are you trying to rebel against me? Normal birds are lucky to get millet. Do you have any idea how much millet even costs?" Leng Yue sighed. "Don't treat it so poorly. Have you given any thought to the martial arts tournament?" "I'm not going. I'm not interested." Lin Tian said, "I have more important things to do." Leng Yue asked. "Like what?" Fei Fei added doubtfully. "What could be more important?" Lin Tian explained, "Renovating the villa that Hai Shang gave me. Before you two turn my house into a hotel, I need to move." The scene changes to a meeting room where leaders were discussing Lin Tian's refusal to join the tournament. Everyone was surprised. Why would he back out so soon? Lei Na sighed. "According to the young miss, he's busy renovating his villa and has no interest in the tournament." Li Yang looked happy. "Good, his absence means less trouble for us." Commander Shen's voice turned grave. "Fatty Li, what exactly do you mean by that?" Li Yang scratched his head with a forced smile. "Commander-in-Chief, I'm being honest. With over 15 years of management experience, I've learned that the fewer people who participate, the fewer problems there are." Commander Shen frowned and barked, "Shut your mouth." He announced forcefully, "This tournament isn't just for cultivators to learn from each other and improve. It's to identify and retain talent for future international competitions without a genius like Lin Tian. How are we supposed to compete against cultivators from other countries?" Someone said hesitantly. "But, Commander-in-Chief, you know what Lin Tian is like. He doesn't care for empty fame. It will be very difficult to persuade him." Another person nodded in agreement. "If a talent like Lin Tian doesn't participate, it will be a huge loss for the nation." The atmosphere became tense. Then someone proposed an idea. "We could use rare cultivation resources as the prize. Surely there's something that would interest Lin Tian." Another person retorted, "The military has a few low-level spirit chi anomaly points, but Lin Tian is already a 7th-level spring fountain expert. Why would he even look at them?" Liu Ying stood up, her eyes shining. "I have a good idea," Commander Shen said impatiently. "If you have something to say it quickly." Liu Ying explained, "In Haishang City, there is a high-level and dangerous anomaly point, the Six Lakes Manor." "That's right." Commander Shen looked doubtful. Liu Ying continued, "Since the strongest cultivators will be gathered for the tournament, why don't we use this opportunity to resolve the supermutated anomaly in Haishang? If we succeed, we won't just reclaim Haishang. We would also strike fear into the hearts of foreign cultivators. No other country has ever managed to clear an anomaly of this level." The entire room voiced their support, but Li Yang raised his hand to stop them. "Absolutely not." He said agitatedly, "I do not agree. Do you have any idea the kind of responsibility I would have to bear? Why not pick another city like Zhihong? I'm too old to handle this kind of pressure." Commander Shen tried to calm him down. "What are you so agitated for? Old Lu's proposal is bold, but it's feasible. The military will provide comprehensive security. We will not let things get out of control, and we won't cause you any trouble." But Li Yang was unconvinced. "Protection safeguards. I've heard it all 1,000 times. The more promises are made, the more chaotic things become." Please just spare me. I just want to enjoy my retirement in peace. Commander Shen's voice was stern. Li Yang, you are the chairman of the Haishang Spirit Qi Association. This is a matter of national importance. You cannot evade your duty. Li Yang was helpless. Fine. I know you've already made your decision and I can't stop you. Do whatever you want. I've said all I have to say. Commander Shen then turned to Liu Ying. It's an excellent proposal. My decision is made. You will be in charge of planning the tournament and handling the logistics. Liu Ying bowed her head, thinking to herself, Leng Yue. There will be news of your parents soon. Back at Lin Tian's house, his room was brightly lit. He was sitting in cultivation, his aura surging violently as lightning flashed in his eyes. He was thrilled to have reached the 9th level of the Spring Fountain realm, just one step away from the Iron Vein realm. Just then, the doorbell rang. He opened it and was surprised to see Secretary Chen smiling at him. Hello, Mr. Lin Tian. Long time no see, Lin Tian asked in surprise Secretary Chen. What brings you here so early in the morning? Secretary Chen explained, I've come to deliver your reward and I'll need your signature. He invited her inside. She took out a file and said, This is the reward from the military, the transfer paperwork for the villa. There's also a reimbursement for renovation costs and a living stipend. If you could just sign here. Lin Tian was satisfied. How thoughtful. Secretary Chen hesitated for a moment, then said, Mr. Lin, there is one other important matter I need to discuss with you. He guessed, is it about the martial arts tournament? She was stunned. Ah, yes, that's it. Lin Tian continued, Leng Yue and the others already told me about the rumors online. But I don't care. Secretary Tran smiled. The tournament is being held at the super variant anomaly in Haithuang. Lam Tian frowned. A super variant anomaly in Haithuang. Is it that dangerous? She explained that Haithuang is located at the confluence of 3 spiritual energy ley lines. The surge in spiritual energy after its restoration created many dangerous anomalies. Lam Tian nodded. An intersection of ley lines. No wonder. All right, continue speaking. This super variant anomaly contains pure lightning elements. Lam Tian mused. Lightning elements. She handed him the documents. Yes, the lightning spiritual energy here is very special. Here are the details. He frowned and said frankly, To rope me in, you people have really gone to great lengths, huh? Secretary Tran was flustered. Mr. Lam, please don't misunderstand. He took the documents. I will review this and then decide. She bowed her head. Thank you, sir. You can call me anytime. He then let her leave. The clock struck 12 noon. Lam Tian brought home boxed lunches and called the ladies to wake up and eat. Fai yawned. I'm so sleepy I could die. Lan Nguye rubbed her eyes and walked over. She saw the documents on the table. What is this? Lam Tian said. They are documents for the tournament and the reward for the previous mission. The military brought them this morning. Yes, Fai excitedly looked. Let me see what Grandpa gave us, she asked. Is there a rank or a title involved? Lam Tian raised an eyebrow. It's not that extravagant. It's just the paperwork to transfer ownership of the villa and reimburse the renovation costs. Hey, Fai protested. What, Grandpa is so stingy, just giving us a shabby villa? She was about to confront her grandfather and demand compensation, but Lam Tian stopped her. Fai, go wash your face and eat. Lan Nguye sighed and glanced at the documents. Suddenly, she froze, her face turning pale. Her hands trembled as she held the paper, thinking to herself, Isn't this the anomaly point where my parents disappeared all those years ago? Lam Tian watched as Lan Nguye flipped through the documents, discovering that a few pages were missing. Puzzled, she wondered. The military deliberately hid this. Why the cover-up? They don't want me to know the truth. Seeing her looking dazed, Lam Tian felt uneasy. This girl has probably figured it out. He silently prayed. Lan Nguye, it's best that you don't know about this. Late at night. Lam Tian stood on the balcony, holding the stack of documents Lan Nguye had read that morning. The contents detailed a super variant class anomaly from the 4th expedition into the Thunder Labyrinth. Search team members Lan Chao and Tuyet Han lost contact on the 5th day of a 7-day journey. Their daughter, Lan Nguye, was adopted by Liu An and is now a spiritual energy cultivator. Lam Tian immediately called Secretary Tran to announce his decision to participate in the anomaly. The person on the other end of the line cheered. That's fantastic. Mr. Lam Tian, he frowned. But the military's methods have made me very unhappy. Secretary Tran was surprised. Sir, what are you referring to? Lam Tian said sternly. You people knew Lan Nguyet's parents were connected to this anomaly. You deliberately forced my hand to participate, Secretary Tran quickly explained. This could be a misunderstanding or just a coincidence. We had no such intention. Lam Tien said angrily. You think I'll believe that? Secretary Tran quickly replied. Mr. Lam Tien, I will report your concerns to my superiors, he snapped. Cut the excuses. I don't care what the military thinks, but this act of probing has made me extremely irritated. He crumpled the paper. Warning. Tell your people this is the first and also the last time. Otherwise, don't blame me for turning hostile, Secretary Tran reassured him. Mr. Lam Tien, please rest assured. I will relay your message verbatim. He hung up the phone and went back into the house. Lan Nguyen had fallen asleep on the sofa. Lam Tien approached, looked at the notebook on the table, gently placed a blanket over her, and thought to himself, I will definitely find Lan Nguyen's parents. The next day, Lam Tien was at the venue for the martial arts tournament. Brother Lam Tien has arrived, everyone. Hurry out to welcome him. Everyone stood in a solemn formation. They bowed their heads respectfully to welcome Lam Tien. Everyone, please don't do that. I feel quite embarrassed. Ha ha. Brother Lam Tien, you deserve this. If it weren't for you eliminating that villain Vuong Tan Kai, we don't know how much more we would have been tormented. All right. That's enough. No more flattery. I just did what needed to be done. You don't know how much the Vuong Tan Kai incident affected the military. We brothers are truly grateful to you from the bottom of our hearts. The crowd cheered. This is what you absolutely deserve. Yes. Brother Lam Tien. I heard that you only needed one sword strike to defeat Vuong Tan Kai. Is that true? That guy wasn't too difficult to handle, just a bit troublesome. As expected of Brother Lam Tien, you're the best. All right now, everyone disperse. Don't gather around, honey. You should get used to this. In the future, there will surely be many more scenes like this. Just adapt early to be more comfortable. All right. I guess this is what happens when you're so beloved by everyone. Commander Han, do you know where Chairman Luan is? I need to find him for something. Soon after, Lam Tien was led to Luan's quarters. Inside this anomaly zone lie too many unconfirmed dangers. We must thoroughly check the list of participants. Director Lu, long time no see. Lam Tien, you've arrived. Come in and sit down. Is there something you needed to see me for? Director Lu, I heard from Secretary Tran that organizing this anomaly event was your arrangement. Is that correct? That is correct. I know this might make you unhappy, but I had no other choice. Nguyet Ni appears obedient and understanding on the outside, but she often cries silently at night. Before I met you, I relied on the military and my own strength to help her find her parents. But I led teams into that area over 50 times without any results, and it even cost many lives. I hoped you would join this martial arts tournament to encourage other cultivators to progress. But more importantly, I wanted to take this opportunity to help Lan Nguyen find her parents. Uncle Lu, if this has upset you, I will take full responsibility. I just hope you don't blame her. She knows absolutely nothing. Uncle Lu, next time, just talk to me directly about whatever it is. There's no need to beat around the bush. Be direct. You mean that Lan Nguyen and I are friends? You don't need a reason to do these things for a friend. Thank you. Lam Tien, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, to the first Cultivator Martial Arts Tournament. I trust that everyone understands. This tournament is not merely a competition, but also an arduous trial. Next, I will explain the important matters concerning the anomaly. The anomaly you are about to face. The venue for this competition is a super variant class anomaly in Hai Thien City. This region is located at a confluence of ley lines containing incredibly potent lightning attribute spiritual energy. But it is also filled with lethal dangers. You must be Lam Tien. Correct. I am a cultivator from Tan City. My name is Mac Thu. Ah, hello. Oh my gosh. I never expected the Sword Saint Lam Tien to be so approachable. Sword Saint, huh? That nickname originated from the legend of you killing Vuong Tan Kai with a single sword strike at the Tan City Cultivator Association. The story has spread everywhere. Has it not reached you yet? It's a good thing it hasn't spread here, or I would have died from embarrassment. Did you need me for something? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Mr. Lam, later when we enter the anomaly. May I join your group? Join our group. Why do you want to come with us? Is this a mission assigned to you by the Tan City Spiritual Energy Association? No. Actually, I'll tell you quietly. Absolutely do not let anyone else know or I won't know how to face them when I get back. Although I was sent by the Tan City Spiritual Energy Association. The truth is, I'm just here to fill a quota. I have no real power at all. What a cultivator with no power. Besides, the Tan City Spiritual Energy Association sent someone like you. Aren't they afraid of losing face? Losing face. They don't care whether I lose face or not. As long as the numbers are met, it's fine. I'm just a half-baked cultivator. They found me agreeable enough and just sent me on my way. They sent you just because you looked agreeable. The Tan City Spiritual Energy Association is quite a joke. Are you really that afraid of death? I've heard that this anomaly point. Even veteran cultivators find it challenging. Yes, if I go in there, I'll probably die immediately. So I want to follow you, Mr. Lamb. Your power is so immense. If I go with you, at least I'll have a chance of survival. You're such a coward. It's because of people like you that our reputation on the international stage is so terrible. Fie, don't speak ill of him right to his face. If I said it behind his back, wouldn't that make me a petty person? If you guarantee you won't cause any trouble or drag us down, I won't cause trouble. I won't cause trouble. I promise to absolutely follow commands and not disturb anyone. Yes, Captain Lamb. How about we let him join us? He doesn't seem like the type to cause trouble. All right, since you seem so sincere, I'll let you accompany us for a while, but remember, you are absolutely forbidden from acting on your own. Thank you. Big Brother Lamb, thank you. Sisters-in-law, everyone can rest assured I will absolutely not cause any trouble. Suddenly, a loud sound startled everyone. Attention, the anomaly is beginning to open. The first National Cultivator Martial Arts Tournament is now officially underway. The scene suddenly changed to a chaotic land where peace seemed but a distant illusion. Lam Teen's group shot through the spatial rift, landing on the ground in the blink of an eye. Upon landing safely, everyone immediately heightened their vigilance, every movement becoming suffocatingly cautious as they scanned the surrounding desolate terrain. Tom Pai Phi couldn't hide her worried expression as she asked, "Isn't Hai Thuong supposed to be a city? How did it come to this?" Leng Yue quickly replied in a calm voice like a cool stream. The aberrant beast in the super-mutated singularity can change the original terrain. It seems it prefers this kind of environment. Then Su Yuting suddenly spoke up. "Captain Lin, next we halfway through the ground suddenly shook violently, causing everyone to jump and cry out in unison. What's happening?" Mo Chu panicked and squatted down, clutching his head with both hands and screaming for his life. Lin Tian hurriedly shouted a warning, "Be careful, anything can happen in a secret realm." Sure enough, just as he said, countless ferocious monsters emerged from the ground. They roared continuously and charged forward, intending to tear everyone apart. Lin Tian didn't hesitate to shout, "Prepare for battle." Suddenly, a brilliant flame slash appeared from the void and struck down the lead monster. Lin Tian was stunned and turned around only to see a red-haired man holding a greatsword. Floating in midair, he asked, "You are Lin Tian?" He frowned and replied coldly, "Who are you?" The red-haired man immediately introduced himself with an air of arrogance. "I am the strongest cultivator in Shihongsong Jinchang. A few days ago, I left a message online hearing this." Shen Faifei suddenly realized, "Could you be the pinnacle of Jihong?" Song Jin Chang then swung his sword, pointing it straight at Lin Tian, and shouted, "If your woman has seen that post, then this will be easy." "Lin Tian, I'm here to challenge you." But Lin Tian had no interest in this farce. He shook his head in refusal and turned away. "Challenge me, sorry. Right now, I have neither the time nor the interest. If you came just for this nonsense, then please leave." Song Jin Chang grimaced, his voice full of sarcasm. "How disappointing. It seems the story of you killing Wang Xinqi with a single strike was just the military hyping you up. When you have enough courage to face me, come find me then." After speaking, he turned and transformed into a streak of light, disappearing in a flash. Shen Faifei was boiling with anger on his behalf and shouted, "You bastard! If you have the guts, come down here. This young lady will teach you a lesson." But Lin Tian quickly pulled her back, his voice gentle. "Faifei, let's go. We have more important things to deal with." Mo Chu, on the other hand, still had a carefree smile, patting his shoulder to comfort him. "Brother Lin, don't be angry. That kid was on the same flight as me and didn't say a single word to me the whole trip. It made me so mad," although he said that his face showed no sign of anger. Lin Tian didn't bother with such trivial matters. He turned his head to look in another direction and reminded, "I don't care about that. Next, we will head towards that mountain. We must be careful." On the way, his face suddenly darkened as he silently prayed Leng Yue's parents, "You must be safe." Suddenly, the whole team set off while gliding through the air. He abruptly stopped. "Wait. There's a problem here. There's a temporal rift below." His group immediately dove in. Inside was a narrow cave with sweltering heat like a furnace. Leng Yue scanned the area and analyzed. A battle definitely happened here from the looks of it. It was probably a fire attribute aberrant beast. Lin Tian led the way, his voice resolute. "Since we're here, let's go inside and take a look." The deeper they went, the more scorching the air became, burning their skin as they neared the end of the cave. Everyone's eyes widened in horror at the scene that unfolded. A group of people were fighting a giant monster. A fire-type one was punched and coughed up blood. Another was hit by a fireball and covered in injuries. Seeing death approaching, they panicked and fled, crying out for help. Suddenly, one of them recognized Lin Tian. He shouted with joy, "Big Brother Lin Tian is here." The others looked at him as if he were their savior and pleaded in unison, "Big Brother Lin Tian, please save us, Godfather, save me." Lin Tian glanced at the ferociously growling monster. He silently assessed its strength as around the fourth realm of the melting spring, perfect for Leng Yue and Yu Ting to train with thinking. This he immediately assigned Leng Yue, Yu Ting. You both have ice attributes. Go take it down to practice your skills. Gain some more practical combat experience. Both replied in unison, understood without hesitation. They shot forward. Seeing this, the monster furiously spewed fire towards them. Leng Yue cast ice condensation barrier, erecting a shimmering ice wall to block the attack. In that instant, she dodged and flew behind it, following up with Ice Thorn. A sharp ice spike pierced the monster's leg, causing it to roar in pain and stumble to the ground. Not giving it a moment to breathe, Leng Yue unleashed a continuous stream of flying ice rings. 2 ice blades shot forward, slashing open its abdomen. Su Yuting seized the opportunity to deliver the finishing blow ice spear. A long, sharp ice spear pierced through the monster's abdomen, tearing it into 100 pieces. The men who had just been crying for help watched from the side with wide-eyed admiration. So powerful a goddess descended, she really is a goddess descended. Lin Tian looked at Su Yuting, and Leng Yue, being surrounded and cheered by everyone, thinking to himself, let them experience the feeling of being cheered on by a crowd for a bit. Suddenly he saw a sparkling orange-red stone. It fell from the monster's corpse. He wondered, what is this, a fire attribute spirit crystal? This is great, this essence stone is just in time to help Fei Fei take another step forward. He landed, intending to pick it up, when a voice echoed, wait, that fire elemental essence stone is mine. It was Song Jinchang. Lin Tian saw him clinging like a leech. His face darkened, and he shouted, you again. Song Jinchang held out his hand, demanding arrogantly, brat, hand it over. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Everyone who saw him emerge from the void demanding a share without contributing seethed with anger and cursed, where did this piece of trash come from? That's right, he was nowhere to be seen when we were fighting the monster, but now that he sees a treasure, he shows up. How strange. What is he doing here, trying to get a piece of the action? Song Jinchang was being cursed continuously. His anger exploded, and he roared, you bunch of trash, all of you shut up for me. With that, he swung his sword and launched a flame slash. Seeing the attack coming, everyone quickly shouted, be careful, get out of the way. His attack carried immense power, carving a long, deep gash in the ground, witnessing its might. Everyone shivered and whispered, so strong, this guy is fundamentally not someone we can afford to provoke. He pointed his sword at the crowd and continued to threaten, if you're not afraid of death, then come up here and talk to my sword. Everyone fell silent. He became even more smug, laughing arrogantly. Ha 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 ha. I thought you all had more backbone, but looking at you now, you're no different from a bunch of turtles hiding in your shells. I'm taking this fire elemental essence stone. Does anyone have any objections? The crowd was silent. Only Lin Tian spoke up. Song Jinchang grimaced and turned to him. Who the hell are you seeing? It was Lin Tian? He sneered, how strange, Lin Tian, when I met you before you were just a turtle hiding in your shell. Why are you so bold? Now that arrogant attitude hit a nerve with Lin Tian. He frowned, his voice cold. If you're courting death, then you can't blame me. With that, he moved at the speed of light and threw a fiery punch, flame fist, piercing through Song Jinchang's chest, causing him to spit up blood. Song Jinchang had no time to react and fell to his knees. A large hole was in the middle of his chest. Everyone present gasped in shock with just one punch. Song Jinchang's anger soared to the heavens, and he roared, you wanna die? He staggered to his feet, his entire body erupting in flames. The spreading heat forced everyone to back away. What is this? How did his aura suddenly become so powerful? It's the fire elemental attribute. He himself is a fire elemental spiritual body. This cave is incredibly rich in fire elements, so his strength here will be greater than normal. Hearing this, the others were stunned and whispered, what does that mean, that inside this cave? He's practically invincible, you could say that. On the other side, Mo Chu turned to Shen Fai Fei in a panic, his voice trembling, asking sister-in-law, will big brother Lin be okay? But she was completely unfazed and replied firmly, don't worry. I have yet to meet anyone who can actually harm Lin Tian. Back in the fight, the gaping wound on Song Jinchang's abdomen was now closing at a dizzying speed. He curled his lip into a smug smile. Lin Tian, in this cave of fire elements, I am a god. But Lin Tian's face remained as cold as ice. He let out a cold snort of contempt, silently thinking, just a dog at the peak of the 7th realm of the melting spring. And you dare to stand before me and shout? Song Jinchang was so angry he gritted his teeth and roared, die for me. He charged forward, swinging his sword straight at Lin Tian, but he just shook his head slightly and scoffed, too weak. Then he reached behind him and drew his sword with a movement as light as a breeze. Lin Tian's face suddenly darkened. He swung his sword and unleashed a thunderflame slash. Instantly, his sword light pierced through Song Jinchang's technique and shot straight towards him. Song Jinchang couldn't dodge in time and had an arm sliced clean off. The sharp pain made him scream horribly. Ah! Overwhelmed by agony, he staggered and collapsed to the ground. He clutched his severed shoulder, his eyes wide with horror, and shouted in disbelief, You actually dared to cripple me! Lin Tian descended from above, looking down on him with contempt, and scolded, You ungrateful thing. The reason I didn't bother with you before was because I had other things to do. Did you really think I wouldn't dare to kill you? He pointed the tip of his sword at his face and continued to warn, Your injury today as a warning out of respect for the military. I will spare your life this time. Next time no one will be able to save you. Song Jinchang's face was as pale as a sheet. He hurriedly begged, I was wrong. Lam Tian, please spare my life. Even as he spoke of bowing in submission, his heart was seething with a deep-seated hatred. Lam Tian, you bastard, one day I will make you pay.